There we are.
Good afternoon, Wooly. How are you today?
Yo, not too bad. How's it going?
I did not watch Mr. McMahon yet.
Neither did I.
Okay, we're safe for now.
I heard that he said, I don't regret filming it, and I guess that's all.
So he put out a statement that was, I don't regret taking part in this documentary, but they used their evil producers' tricks to create a narrative that wasn't real. And I hope you remember that there are two sides to every story.
But isn't it like, I don't regret taking part in this documentary that my former people had the okay to sign off on, and ultimately, you know, like, it's an official approved release?
It's supposedly like, so I just saw someone in the chat said they leave out a ton of horrible shit that he did.
Isn't it
I'm
like
it's only 6 hours long.
Like
how long do you want it to be?
I don't fully know, but my understanding was that this was like sort of not official, but like official approved, in that it's going to do what it can to, like, there's the official company distancing, but I'm sure there's a level that they're not gonna that they're still gonna kind of try to massage the image
I
of,
had heard that it was supposed to be like a puff piece, but then all that rape shit came out, and they were like, well, we kind of really gotta give that some attention because we're all gonna look like frauds.
Yeah. And so what does the end result end up being? Like, it starts as puff and then it becomes takedown, but
He's so controversial. Why is he controversial? Is it because of crime?
Yes.
Maybe.
I mean, you know, the wild stories of cookie crumbs and blowing out quads are like the iceberg. Who knew that the Vince McMahon iceberg of all these insane stories we thought were the bottom? Actually, no, there's just a giant chunk of ice under the water that's just rape. Like, it's just, who knew? That's wild. Yeah.
Apparently everyone.
Yeah.
Actually.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's the other side of that story.
So this
is apparently like tons of people.
So that's I guess what the thought would be, is like, yeah, if you're going to like release something and then give it the okay needs to be, well, we've created our distance, but it can't further incriminate anyone else that's still a part of the organization and affect the image and such, you know? So that's kind of what I heard on it, but I don't know. Anyway.
Hey, so like, this is going to be strange, but I actually want to make an addendum to a conversation we had last week. Because we were talking about the FF7 and FF16 sales stuff. And I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw a mutual of mine, Chris Wolfhart, make the point that, like, hey, nothing is ever going to sell as good as it did in 2021. And my brain took a second and go, oh, yeah, right, the pandemic. Like, we literally completely never brought that up once
that
at
part
all.
Of it.
But well, yeah, no, nothing will ever sell as good in the games business as it did during 2021 and 2022.
Yeah, the thing is that because that conversation wasn't just FF7, though, it was also FF16 to 15.
Yeah.
You know, and like 16 is so much more like acclaimed and, you know, improved.
Yeah, and recent as well.
Hey, right, so...
But we were like comparing like Rebirth to Remake, and it's like, oh, it sold more than double. It's like, well, yeah, everybody was at home.
That's, I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, that conversation was just like, there are a bunch of factors that all, you know, mix into why that did
a melange. So what's up with you, man? What have you been up to this week?
So yeah, not a ton. The main, of course, meat and potatoes there. Yo, Terry Bogard is out.
And I've been playing a lot of Terry Bogard. I posted a picture of an Akuma disconnecting during my level 3 super like 20 minutes ago.
Was it the big one?
It was not the Big Bang.
Okay.
It was just a regular level 3 super in the corner.
So yeah, I really do appreciate that, like not every guest appearance in games gets treated with like the utmost respect, but there are some standouts when you feel them.
Sometimes they're just here.
Yeah. It's like, hey, look, we took a couple of our existing assets, cobbled them together, and there's your weird version of the character you recognize in our engine.
I think Tekken really like went above and beyond with its guest characters. Like Akuma just worked on a completely different universe, and then like Noctis was like, no, we are actually gonna integrate all the stupid magic shit.
Yeah, Tekken really did put a lot of love in there. I think as well, one of the best comparison points for a long time was Shovel Knight, because Shovel Knight shows up everywhere. That's a fucking traveling hero. But Shovel Knight in Rivals of Aether in particular had the most amount of love put in by comparison to a lot of all these other cameos that you kind of are like, holy shit, everyone else was phoning it in, you know? And so all that to say that Terry Bogard is, one of those, you know? Like, we've talked about the amount of shit we've seen from him in the trailers and everything, but like now that the full package is out and we kind of have the top view, it's insane, man. Like,
Terry feels like just a masterfully crafted little gift. Like, I remember when we saw the power dunk is a target combo. It's not like a move. It's a target combo. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. And now, how often are you going to hit power dunk? And the answer is actually all the time. It's his best meterless combo if you just frame it.
And if you get the you get a specifically timed version for a little extra damage there. And like then you have these other little things as well where when you do his OD fireball and it burns you out, so you spend all of your meter to do that. Instead of going like power wave, he goes into his old Fatal Fury 1 voice clip, power wave. They're grabbing little things in there. They've even put a secret super in. So you've got
his old really awful motion,
SNK motion required. You need to do a quarter circle back and then half circle forward and press like heavy punch and medium kick at the same time. And then
goofy.
He does the same like super. He does power geyser, punches the ground, but instead of it's shooting out at an angle towards your opponent, it shoots straight up, which is
the hitbox is the same though.
It just looks like the old style version of the move, So it's like it's just there for the swag. It's just there for the the nostalgia.
There is even a tiny little tease in there. So Terry's got the target combo where he jumps into the background and he changes the lanes, just like Fatal Fury. And it sucks.
That
target combo sucks.
You have to...
And it feels like they're going lane changing's dumb, guys. Come on.
So, like, you can only do it after you hit your opponent. You cannot do it while they're blocking. So, like, if you're going to choose to do that, you're giving up on what could be a better combo, his taunt as well, where like his forward taunt, he kind of tries to go into the background and it doesn't work, and he goes, no line here, all right. But that's the I went in and I put him to Japanese mode as well, because you gotta get the
here comes the big one. Like I don't want I want Terry to be the strangest man from Florida ever.
I mean, he sounds totally fine in English, but like you want your Terry, you want big ow. Okay.
I want a Japanese man who doesn't speak English's idea of America man.
Yeah, the only thing is too is like over the years there's been different line readings of "Are you okay, Buster Wolf?" and it's never.
This is not a good one.
It's never quite. It's not always the same. Like the first one is my absolute favorite because it's that "Are you okay, Buster Wolf?"
And this one, he's very chill and relaxed.
And like there's I think KOF 2003 where he's like, "Are you okay, Buster Wolf?" I'm like, dude, relax, take it easy.
Calm down. Yeah,
you can get it out there. I want that, like, hold on to the wolf, drag that line out. But I like the long, loud "Are you okays?" That's all really just fun and stuff. And we'll get into his gameplay in a second. But I wanted to call attention to his world tour and story mode implementation, because there's a thing that they're doing that makes all of these appearances make sense. And so the memes are like Kyo Kusanagi forgotten in the dust, dead forever.
Sorry, Kyo.
You're right. SNK has abandoned their mascot man, or he's never been, or whatever. But here's the thing: it actually makes complete perfect sense if you follow the history of the crossover between these two companies. So,
well, I mean, Terry and Ryu are cousins. They were made by the same people directly.
Yes, there is that, right? The folks that left from Street Fighter 1 that went to form the Shin Nihon Keikaku, or kin whatever it is, the word, but whatever, the SNK Corporation. God, Keikaku's fucking brain rot is in forever.
All according to plan.
But no, anyway, the cool aspect here to the whole Terry inclusion is, so we kind of looked at it and went, oh yeah, he's a brother, he's been there from the jump, what an awesome character, great pick, etc. Right? Same kind of thing as like you have him showing up in Fexel, fighting EX Layer, and Smash Brothers, and stuff. So like everyone recognizes the fucking homeless pizza delivery guy. Love that dude. But when you do his story mode, it may and you see how like he it's him running into Ken, and it makes fucking perfect sense, because Capcom versus SNK 1, right? The original dream match of the century,
Millionaire Battle, or
no Millennium Fight 2000, no Millennium Fight 2000, and then CVS2 Millionaire Fighting 2001. Anyway, in that you have Kyo and Ryu matched up together. They have the intro together where Kyo has the fire, throws it at him, and goes, "Oh, you're not afraid of my fire?" And Ryu's like, "Let's go." And he's like, "All right, bring it on, round one." And then in the kind of setup, you would then have there's like an MP3 file on the OST of like the two of them fighting and such. Ryu would then win. Terry jumps in, beats Ryu, throws the hat out. Ken jumps in afterwards, picks the hat up. Sorayo tosses it back to him. We get that awesome moment. Everyone goes, "Oh shit, perfect," right? And you then look at SVC Chaos as well, where the intro has Ryu and Kyo facing off against each other, and then there's artwork of Ken and Terry fighting each other.
Yeah, because it's black and white versus red and blue. Like.
So it was always like, exactly. So it wasn't like Kyo and Iori, or like Rio or Robert or anything. It was always specifically these two face each other, and then these two, So, and
then Mr. Karate's over there, and Akuma.
Exactly, right? So the fact that Ken and Terry are linked up there, it makes perfect sense. So that when you see in his ending in the story mode now, Terry's walking through Southtown, and then he's or Metro City. And then he runs into Ken, and Ken is like, "Oh, whoa, is that you, Terry?" And Terry's like, "Holy shit, Ken, damn, you don't look so good, And it's like, all right, how about, it's been like, what, 20 years? Hey, let's fight, And then Terry beats his ass, and it's like, okay. And then Ken's just on the ground like, oh, like he's all like dejected. And Terry's like, "Whoa, dude, you all right? What's the matter? Your fire's usually much hotter than this. Like, it kind of felt soggy." And Ken's like, "Yeah, I got a lot on my mind, And he's like, "Oh, well, yo, we're the same kind of fighter. I believe in you. You can get back up there, and I'm sure the next time you can get that fire as hot as it usually is, And he's kind of like, "It's not my business to ask, but whatever is bothering you, I believe in you and stuff." And picks him back up and has that little moment, And Ken's like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. Thanks, man." And he gets up and he hands him the hat back, And so you have that perfect little reference to that moment. And then they're like, "All right, see you, man." And it's like a nice little like homage to their original encounter. So we were talking about what would happen with the new Fatal Fury game, and it was like, oh, it would be a perfect time for them to continue this crossover thing now that the two companies are talking again. And hey, how about Luke or someone to get in there to be like the face of the new franchise? No, the storyline between Terry and Ken continues because that's who's showing up in his game now, respectively.
Also, Ken's so much more popular than Luke.
Yeah, but I mean, you would also think Ryu, right? You would be a clear possibility
Ken is so
there.
much more popular than Ryu.
But it's like, because this is the Terry game, it makes perfect sense for it to be Ken that shows up as the guest, you know? And I would love to see if his storyline there was like, yo, thanks for the pep talk, man. You know? Like,
yeah, it's similar to how, like, when we're talking verses, it's like Ryu is the one like clutching, like grabbing hands with Cyclops.
Yeah. And you know, and if this was like a KOF guest or something, then you could expect to see Kyo and Ryu having their kind of, you know, their interaction. But this is very specifically like these two and the history of them across these multiple games. And then of course Mai and Chun-Li also have a ton of artwork and moments of them together in their history. There's literally like the first like showdown piece of like them just like titty to titty, you know, like facing off, like what? And so that needs no explanation. That of course if Terry and Mai show up here, then Chun-Li's gonna need to go over there, you know? So yeah, they're actually going for like a kind of like rival narrative pick instead of like just who's the most popular representative of the franchise. And I love that shit. I love the idea that we get a through line from all the way back in 2000 till now. So yeah, fun stuff with there being a little storyline there. In World Tour mode, I don't know if you saw it, but like Terry has not learned his lesson.
I am probably never going to load up World Tour mode again, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so you show up and you know, kind of smartly they've put Terry behind a special festival day where you have to select it, because it's like, let's say for some reason something ever went wrong between these companies and they had to remove any licensed things, they could just take this one special.
I don't think that's what's going on. I think,
but he's not integrated into
storyline.
Yeah. But like they definitely made it like he's not integrated into the normal world mode. You have to go pick him on a specific menu, you know, and that scenario system. Yeah, they kind of have a you celebrate the Knockout Festival, aka KOF, by wearing a hat. You know, and then you go fight a couple people. Interestingly, there's some cameos in there. Franco Bash is hanging out, or like fake Franco Bash. Fake Franco Bash is hanging out. Yeah. There's I forgot his name, but the monk with the big straw hat as well. You know, like there's a bunch of like obscure pics chilling around. You know, but you then have Terry pull up and, you know, your character takes a swing. John World Tour does his best. And yeah, he easily dodges that shit. In one case, he kind of like leans past and then smacks that ass and sends you back over, you know? So, of course, it's just like, aw, shit, Terry not fucking beating the allegations, dude.
Terry, keep your hands to yourself unless you're fighting.
Hey, okay. Bat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Oh, man. Yeah, and you know, then you eventually go to the Pow Pow Cafe where they do a little fun like 3v3 system to homage like KOF as well. So fun stuff. You can meet fake and then real eventually, like Blue Mary, Joe Higashi, and you know, you got your Andy outfit and dude there as well. So
man, can we just get a CVS game already? Like, holy shit.
So the problem with that, because I know a lot of people have went, oh, look, all this is happening. This clearly means CVS is coming, right? Okay.
No.
But how do you do that and you make another game in the middle of two companies trying to push their own thing and not fuck up your own push? Like if you're
Sprites.
If you're trying,
just go back to Sprites.
They're not going to go back to Sprites. They're too expensive and they take too long.
Go back to Sprites. Shut up.
Like the idea of like, yo, we got to do CVS 3. I'm like, and here I could be 1,000,000% wrong, and they could just be like, yeah, fuck it, we're gonna do it. But I just think that because of the way Tekken also had this problem of like Tekken not doing Cross Street Fighter because we're trying to push our game and you're trying to push your game, and then we're trying to push Seasons, and like there's no way to squeeze in between there and not kind of interrupt the thing we're trying to do.
That's all great and shit. Do it though. Oh, okay. I want it.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I think the problem is that fighting games have become these long seasonal releases, and it's much more feasible for both companies to be like, how about we guest in each other's games so you don't fuck up our bag and we don't fuck up your bag, and we get a bit of crossover flavor, without having to sort of fully.
We're probably going to see characters jump over here and there and there and here for a while instead of a proper.
It makes more sense economically. And here's the other problem: what if the crossover sucks? Right? What if it's Street Fighter Cross Tekken? What if it didn't have enough time or attention because it was the third priority, and what you get is an afterthought, and it's like, oh no, now not only was this a failure that detracted, it just like, it dies on the vine even sooner, and like you just you want these games to live up to the legacy, especially they need to have the right amount of attention and time put into them to be worth the crossover.
Oh, that doesn't seem to be a threat anymore, and it's not for any particular reason. I don't think it's just like, of all the fighting game characters that have crossed over from one to the other in the past couple of years, they've all been treated like royalty. Like starting with Akuma and Geese, and I mean Noctis isn't from a fucking fighting game, but like guest characters of this type are treated like they're beloved icons.
And I just I like, if I had to choose between getting the half-baked crossover game in between these seasons of the active thing on both sides, or the both games getting a lot of love put into their guest characters, I prefer the latter.
Well, I mean, no one wants anything when you put the two sides as one being beloved and the other being half-baked, Wooly.
Of course. But I just mean that especially fighting games and the way they're released has changed so much that it's, I think Cross Tekken was like one of the last examples of like how that can go wrong. If they were like, willing to be like, all right, there's an empty space here and we're going to clear the plate. Like NetherRealm, for example, port one out.
We want to talk about half-baked.
Yeah, but like, because of the way they release things, like, and they're putting out their own, like MK and then Injustice or whatever, they could do their like, all right, we're going to put both games aside and make an MK versus DC Injustice crossover thing again if they wanted to, because it's on their own schedule, but
same thing with Marvel versus Capcom.
So that's how I feel about the whole like modern crossover concept. But it's close as it's ever been, and taking the director's words into account as well. They're like, yeah, we'd love to, we just need to figure out when and how and stuff. Is nice to know that like we're back in the buddy kind of like times of both of these companies. I'm surprised as well. So when it comes to the gameplay with Terry, he is not dominating like Akuma and Bison did. He is not this like pick him and collect your wins. Like he
is a good, like excellent all-rounder character with no outrageous strengths.
Yeah, he's a good Shoto. Terry, are you okay? He's okay.
Is he the best Shoto? No. Is he the second best? Maybe, but probably not.
I would say not. But he takes some work, and he's got some tools that you got to learn to use properly. But like you got to earn it.
And he is weird. That is a benefit for him, is that his shit is all weird in Street Fighter's context.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff he does that like is fake, so to speak, and what I mean by that is like it's kind of tricky, but like there's an answer to it clearly. But yeah, he is kind of interesting and fun in that like, because his fireball is on the ground, it goes underneath other characters' fireballs instead of clashing with them. So you kind of get this little like, oh, we're not just going to sit here chucking at each other and kind of seeing who like interrupts the rhythm of that. If I'm winning and we're both hitting each other, you got to do something, and yeah, the fact that his like heavy fireball is like very safe and plus and lets you kind of get stuff started. It's fun to see like, him have these like unusual situations where he gets advantage, right? Instead of having like a button or so that gives that to him, he's got to like hit the tip of his burning knuckle or the tip of
I definitely like, I am playing Terry and I'm getting this like, all these new situations, because his stuff doesn't perform quite as expected, or they don't fit within the mold perfectly. And it's definitely not the emotion I felt when I loaded up Bison, and it was just like,
just go take, yeah,
I'm gonna just hit some buttons.
yeah. No, you have to do little things with Terry, like after you land like his tackle, then you have to perfectly time doing his crack shoot kick, and you can do a simple, untimed version of it that like hits you twice, and then you can end your combo. But if you wait for the exact right moment, you get 3 hits, which allows you to do a bigger ending follow up. So
I'm gonna say don't go for the 3-hit version. It's really hard, and if you drop it, you drop the whole fucking thing, and it's don't bother.
I mean, if you feel like you're the type, if you're feeling particularly like plucky, and you know that you're an executionist to some degree, then do what you got to do, get your timing right. But I know, yeah, like it's frustrating to go for the fancier one and then like lose it all. But yeah, he's a character that has these little things like that where if you're really on point, especially in the corner, he's got some really great juggles and stuff. But yeah, like to do things that are like massively damaging, you're putting yourself into burnout because you're doing the power dunk 1 2 3. You're doing a lot, and spending all your resources, and he's just not touching you the way like Akuma damage Marissa. I mean, Marissa's kind of becoming this weird, like, she was the damage character, but now there's so many others that can do her damage.
I mean, she's the damage character, but she's just not as good as the other 2 or 3 damage characters.
Yeah, then they're like, how about other people can do that damage? And she's like, aw, but what am I supposed to do?
I think the balance changes that went along with Terry's patch were so funny, because they're like, they nerfed Bison's scissor kicks by like a little tiny bit. Did they change his stupid damage? No.
Okay, so this one's a little inside as we're talking, what the fighting game changes. But his scissor kick is a weird example of a move getting buffed and nerfed at the same time, and it's not quite clear why. And I think they figured out what was going on. So beforehand, when Bison did his scissor kick at you, he'd always push you back too far to be able to.
You'd be so far away if you blocked it.
If you wanted
to be totally safe.
Yeah, so like you can act first, but you can't really reach him because he spaces you out. He pushes you out. So what they did was they made it so it's like, okay, he lands closer to you, but his hurt box, the thing that you can hit to punish him, is
smaller, also
further away from you. So you're like, wait a minute, you made him land closer, but I can't hurt him closer. What's the point of that? Why would you do both?
And it turns out it's just so that the things that were going to hit him earlier are more consistent.
Exactly, right? So it's like, if you are able to touch him, you can touch him and not have him like fall out of your combo. That's all they were going for, And then they did some stuff like, they're like, hey, we're sorry about Geef. They changed his little knee that he could like keep. He could like absolutely pressure you from, even without spacing it properly. Yeah. And like JP's anti-air is now back to not exactly what it was, but anyway, they made some changes that were like, yeah, we went too far. Sorry, pulling it back.
Might have gone too far in a couple places. Not with Akuma or Bison, though. No, we were definitely at the right place with those. And Rashid.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't get anything at all either, which is like, I've kind of expected more there, but I guess we'll see. But anyway, all that aside, it is real dope as well. I love again, talking about like love, it's like the fact that Terry gets different behavior based on both costumes. His jacket or his hat toss is like, I love that, I love that, like, you have just completely unique intros and win poses for both of those. And I don't know where else that would be a thing, but it would be great to see more of that, more unique stuff based on the way they look and everything. Don't know what his third costume is going to be. I was wondering, like, are they going to grab one of those weird Falcon designs from Maximum Impact?
You know what they should do? You know what they should fucking do? They should put him in Ken's gi.
Oh my god. A Jeff Bogard outfit of his dad.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, one look he has that's technically a little different is his Fatal Fury 1 jacket is like a long sleeve red jacket, you know.
Nah.
But I imagine
people in the chat are saying basketball fit.
Basketball would be fun with the hat backwards. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He does turn the hat backwards when he does the dunk after all. So that would be real cool. There's some artwork of that. But yeah, anyway, so it's just kind of fun in the end to see like, okay, the idea of we're going to make the DLC character always be the strongest is now not confirmed to be the case. You know, the guest is not allowed to dominate in the same way that
I mean, that makes sense.
That Bison and Akuma were able to, but
Akuma and Tekken was like a weird situation.
Yeah, so I guess there's different ways to think about it, right? It's like, do you roll out the red carpet and say, yes, you own this game, and then eventually we'll come back in and nerf and touch this, you know? Or do you just go like, a guest can never be allowed to be that great, you know?
I think it'll be depending on. I wonder if they made Terry like really, really good, and we're like, the way we built him, if we add like one more frame on this, he's busted. And if we tone it down, maybe like his standing hard punch, right? It's like an incredible hard punch, other than the fact that it's stubby. And I can imagine like, well, what if we lengthened the hard punch? Oh no, it's too good now.
Yeah, no, he's not like, he doesn't have the hard punch that Luke has, for example, which is the fucking party starter, you know. But instead they made it so that his medium punch reaches first, but like you have to spend a lot of resource to convert afterwards, you know. I think it's just a basic thing of just like, yo, Akuma's really popular. He's the most popular. Everyone loves him. He's the fucking.
I like Akuma.
He's the badass, you know, like Ed Shoto from back in the day.
He's evil.
Yeah, and so he's gonna be strong. That's it, you know. And I think Dictator.
And Bison's a charge character, and charge characters are hard to play, so they should be the strongest in every game that they're in.
No matter what. Yeah, so I think it really is just that simple, and I don't imagine that like Mai or Elena are gonna be too terrifying, but there will always be one thing with the character that is like, that has to make you go, what the fuck, when you see it.
Let's just wait until we see the healing target combo.
It's you have.
Did you know if you hit this target combo, she just heals?
She goes a little bit. She gets a little bit of life back. Yeah, a mini heal. You know, there always has to be something about the character when you see the trailer that makes you go, "What the fuck are they doing?" to get your interest. And yeah, we'll see. You know, I'm hoping for Mai, she does like one of her 8 dive kicks. I hope that they.
Mai is a character that like doesn't exist in Street Fighter outside of like maybe Vega, like Claw.
Heavy wall diver.
Yeah.
I mean, she still has her like ground, you know, the fans, and then
but she's
the fire.
Up there. She's up there a lot.
Yeah, I think if they give her a lot of air mobility, that could be very fun, and like it's fun. Yeah, I mean, years ago, I remember like talking to you about this, but like I like Dong Hwan in Mark of the Wolves. I like characters that spend a lot of time in the air and get cool shit. You know, back in Capcom versus SNK 2, there's a character Maki who had an Air 720, and if you landed that, you're a god, because you spent all your super bar and you did a fucking 360. It's like Zangief landing the air SPD, the air spinning pile driver, except it's the ultimate call out, you know. I love that. I love characters with tons of air options, you know. So yeah, let's see what they do for her. But yeah, Terry's fun. So there's a little bit of that. And yeah, you know, again, not a ton else. Made it. Still in the middle of the Steel Samurai case in Ace Attorney. So, you know, I can see these cases.
Yeah, those cases start to really pick up steam.
Yeah, they're padding out. Man, we'll talk about the news, but it really is interesting that like literally everything that I like take a look at or touch comes right back around.
It is becoming absurd.
So they just announced the Phoenix Wright anime, you know. I mean, like, just out of nowhere, I'm like, oh, hey, look at that, you know. there's other things that are, we're seeing. I mean, shit in fucking Dead Space that just happened. And even things
Dino Crisis, I
Dino
think, is getting
Crisis,
re-released.
Dino Crisis, like on PSN, right? And like even things that I've just discussed or mentioned. I'm like, hey, I think 2 weeks ago is when I said like, oh yeah, I was thinking about checking out Legacy of Kain,
Yeah.
and they're like,
well, here you go.
You asked, here you go. So yeah, that's fun.
I thought for sure that the day after you finished that FF9 playthrough, they were going to announce the remake of that game.
I felt it. I felt that
and like it felt that like just hanging up here, ready to drop at any time, and it didn't occur.
I mean, sometimes there's a little like energy towards like, hey, no one's talked about this thing for a while and everyone seems to really like it. I've always wanted to play that. Let's pop that in. And then lo and behold,
that was the same exact sentiment at someone's office. Hey, you know what? You can't really buy Dino Crisis anywhere. Should we do that somewhere?
Why the fuck not? I'm downloading the HD fan updated texture version, out there. So yeah. But of course it doesn't work out when it's like, hey, you just missed it. But it's fine. I'm like, whatever. I'll take it as is. So they're like, there's now some footage of the Front Mission 3 that just dropped as well, right?
Oh my god. That looks terrible.
I didn't go through all of it. I just kind of.
It looks awful.
What's happening?
So for whatever reason, they didn't include the music in any of the demos, but all the animations are totally weightless. And it's just lost all of its charm.
Oh no!
And it looks terrible. Like unless they redo all the animations, I would be like, just play the PS1 version.
Well,
like
shit.
Seriously. And then the second game was like machine translated.
I remember that.
So it's like,
I remember that bullshit. Yeah. Okay. I gotta go check that out because I saw there's 26 minutes of footage. So I haven't seen, but like there seems to be a lot. I was definitely thinking, oh, when that drops, I'd love to touch it. But
they have totally half-assed that whole series. It's really, really depressing.
Fuck. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess there's always the original if push comes to shove.
There is always the original.
But yeah. Anyway, so that we'll see what's happening with this Phoenix Wright anime.
I'm kind of like, they announced it and I was like, didn't that already exist?
No.
And the answer is no.
It didn't. No.
But, I'm shocked.
Wait. It did. It's not a new anime? Oh, I'm sorry. What did they announce? Okay, I'm confused at what was announced.
Oh, it did exist. I'm not crazy.
Oh. It was a 2019 anime.
So what are they announcing?
Okay, well then never mind. I was completely mistaken by what I saw.
Oh, it's a recap video? Oh my god. So they announced nothing. Okay, that's great.
Never mind. My mistake. I apologize. And yeah, in chipping away at Shadow of the Erd Tree, just went to the other side of this Shadow Keep and peeked my head out the door, and then this motherfucker riding a boar just rushed my ass.
Oh, let me tell you. So did you beat that dude or did you
first shot?
Okay, so that dude was one of the nerfs that came down because he was one of the bosses that people were like, that you need to fix this.
Oh,
not like,
yeah.
You don't need to nerf it. You need to fix it. And the basic deal is that he would so everybody either beat him first try or struggled really horribly, because what happened was you'd see the cutscene and then he'd be like over there. And then he would rush you, right? And you would be in the room, and the cutscene would end, and he would rush you.
No cutscene. He just rushed.
Well, it used to be he would rush you so fast that you had like 1 second to fucking roll out of the way, or he would pin you to the door. Like he was like he was coming at you, and he would start further away during the first attempt.
Okay, so what I had was looking through the door, and I was like, what is that, what I'm looking at? I can't tell. And I took a step to the side to look around the spear that's blocking it, and as soon as you do that, like, the music starts and the door locks, and you just go like, oh, you know. I was like, I can't look. You know?
Yeah, no, he was like, so all the bosses in Erdtree like rush you, which is kind of cool actually. He was like too close to the door.
Okay.
So he'd rush, and you'd be like, "Hey,
Okay.
And he could do his charge move and trap you in the door frame.
Oh no. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because what happened was, it was fine. Managed to do it, and afterwards I was like, whoa, look at this giant arena. This is clearly a big important fight that just went quickly, you know. He had the same type of arena with the weapons and everything as like a Godfrey, or, you know, like, I didn't quite realize that it was even a remembrance boss, you know. So
you said you came out the back of the Shadowkeep, so there's like 3 exits out the back of that fucking building. No, 4.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All I wanted to do was just like figure out the water thing. Just draw. I just wanted to drain the water and then see what's down there, and then like it branches into 3 different directions, and I go, fuck off, everybody. This is
No, wait. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there a 5th?
I found 3 paths, right? So I found you go from the eastern side of the Shadowkeep into you find an elevator to the western side, or you go down into the water, or and then you go underneath to the Grace Tunnel, or you go out to where Gaius is, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just like, okay. I thought I was just clearing up loose ends, and I'm on a path now, you know.
That area is both super complicated, and oh no, there's a 5th one. It also exits out into like the most zones of any location since like Firelink Shrine.
It's I didn't realize it was going to be a fucking
intersection. And 2 of them are actively hidden.
And yeah, the fire knights that are in there are always real. Those enemies are always real. They've never stopped being real the entire time. They just don't stagger. They don't give a fuck. Again, you're like looking in the water, and it's like, what is happening it's an ulcerated tree spirit.
So that's like the worst part of that. Is the most awful part of the whole, because it's like it's breaking up the tree, and you're like, what's that?
Yeah.
What could it be? And then like I got like a decent look at it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fucking ulcerated tree spirit. Come on.
And I was like, you know, maybe there's a chance that this will be a fun underwater variation where it'll try to attack me on land or something, you know. And like, no, of course not. Fuck off. You're fighting the same.
I will say though that at that point in the fucking game, when the ulcerated tree spirit like walks up, it's a fucking joke. Like, it is no threat.
But then you kill it, and then another one attacks you, and you're like, guys, we get it. It was supposed to be in Dark Souls 3. You recycled it forward. You're very proud of its animation. But now we're hitting that point of repetition where you're like, does the joke become funny again? You know, like when you commit so hard that everyone stopped laughing, are we now Andy Kaufman?
It's kind of funny.
It's like you kill it, and then you get a second one, and you're just like, yeah, I kind of am like, I'm almost starting to root for more. Like, I can't believe the audacity of these fucking assholes to take the same enemy and make you fight like a billion of them. It's nuts, dude. Yeah, I'd love to hear the full story. You know, recycled enemy. Like, is it someone that's just really proud of their work? besides that part? Is there something to it that's like, are we trying to create a new poison swamp? Like there's gotta be an element of this where Miyazaki is smirking as someone is like walking in going, I think we could. I think another one actually would be.
So I was talking to some friends last night about Elden Ring, and there was this feeling of like, so okay, is it too big? Miyazaki says yeah, because they did that interview where they're like, we're definitely not going to make the next one as big as Elden Ring. And you can feel that it's too big because just cut out every redo of every mini boss and above, and it's still one of the largest games I've ever played in my life.
Oh yeah. Now the thing is that I always hold the end of the spectrum of too big and bad to be the way I felt walking around Mortal Shell, where you had just massive expanses, the third area in particular, that had nothing going on in them. Here, it's massive, but there's always something of interest. It's the Breath of the Wild feeling, right? Something of interest, and you go towards it, and then there's shit going on. What I feel like contributes to the problem, so it's I know that, and we all love a nice big world to just get lost in.
I sure do, Wooly.
I wish there were more dead ends to just like feel like you've closed a chapter,
So the DLC is actually really good at that. Like almost all the zones dead end out.
They eventually, but like when you hit that point, like I did in the East Shadowkeep, where you're like, actually, this is the furthest thing for you. Thought you were cleaning up the side of
Shadowkeep is like a secret hub.
Yeah, you thought you were cleaning out the side of the place of the legacy dungeon you already went to. Turns out you were at an intersection, of a legacy dungeon.
You're in a roundabout.
And when you get to the bottom of the fissure, and then it's like, okay, end of cave, turn the fuck around.
You got to the top of the peak with Bale, end of dragon section.
Yes, and those parts are very reminiscent of Demon Souls, right?
Yes.
Where a Demon Souls like hallway ends and goes, turn the fuck around, you did it. And like
you are done with the mine level.
Dr. Wily logo is now available. And there's a little bit of just like, okay, I can feel like accomplished a little more frequently. And so I just wish I got that a little more from some of these paths, like not even to put them on rails per se, but like if you kind of know that you're walking into an intersection and each of those intersections is going to lead to further branches, it's great for the wanderlust, but like when you do not get that eventual sense of accomplishment, if you just happen to pick 5 intersections in a row, you get exhausted. You're like, I just got to stop here. I can't take any more. I can't keep track of all these threads, I
feel like From Software dramatically, and I mean dramatically, underestimated how many people were going to go everywhere other than where the grace was pointing them. So like I feel like their design process was that most players were going to follow the line on the map that the map showed them, and then if they hit something that was too brutal or turned their head and saw something really cool, that they would go towards that. But everyone I've talked to used those grace arrows as like a don't go there until you've gotten
until
everything
you're done.
in its vicinity.
Because they've spent the last 10 years training us to do the opposite. Like literally go explore elsewhere lest you miss really cool shit. So yeah, like it's become the expected thing to go
like a decade of NPC quest lines that auto fail if you walk into a room in the wrong order.
Exactly, or teleporting if you sit at the wrong grace at the wrong time. You know, like we know how obtuse that gets, and you're afraid of walking through the wrong door and exactly, or killing the wrong boss and not advancing this and that. You're saving it for like, okay, now I know we're gonna move forward after I've sufficiently looked around the area and cleared that out. And by taking that approach is what burns you the fuck out on all these branches.
I have like a different complaint to make about Shadow of the Erdtree, and it's very specific. And that is like after playing through both, obviously, and I played through Elden Ring again right in front of Erdtree. I like Erdtree considerably more than base Elden Ring. And like I wish I could go to the main menu and have it like start Shadow of the Erdtree as like a different menu option.
Interesting.
Like you can mod that in, obviously, just mod a character that has all the bell bearings and just, you know, teleport over to Moog. But like the weapon variety in it alone, and the enemy variety is huge.
So you've done base game like 2.5 times now, right? So like,
yeah.
I only have my one run, which was all over the place. I don't know what the game is like when you do a linear, like user path one as designed and expected.
Dude, it actually sucks really bad. Like getting a file, like playing Elden Ring, incredible. I'm using air quotes, getting a file ready for the DLC is terrible, because you go, I need this bell bearing, 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 I need these key items, I need these key talismans, I need these key spells, and then you just start ping-ponging to all the things, going down like a mental checklist, and only killing the things you need to, and it's just really, really unsatisfying.
Interesting. Okay.
It feels like, yeah, somebody in the chat said it's like a shopping list.
Okay. And DLC wise, what do you like that's different?
I like the general like encounters. I think there is a huge amount of Elden Ring that is those catacombs that are not super good. And
there's been significantly less catacombs.
Is like, do you want 4 of each catacomb and they're all really big and interesting?
True. They fixed that problem.
And you also get way more types of weapons in the DLC. The game also has like the weird problem of like, well, it has a scaling system, so you can start the DLC anytime. Well, you still have to beat Moog, who is for real, and also there's no merchant in the DLC to buy any of the smithing stones, and they give you them at random and kind of still expect you to have a maxed out weapon. So you kind of still have to do most of the base game anyway.
I think in base game areas that are not just like legacy dungeon per se, but like the Southern Peninsula, for example, where you're like, it's an island, you can ride around and do everything on it, and then scrape that shit, and then you're done, you know. And I kind of was like, okay, it felt satisfying to put a giant check mark on the bottom of the map, you know, at a point. And then here in the DLC, and I'm enjoying it, but motherfucker, I wrote
it's a little complicated.
Well, I wrote into Rao, and I'm like, I went like an hour or two into Rao, and I was like, this is not what I want to do right now. I did not mean to sign up for a legacy dungeon on the overworld in the outside that is just it's so big and it's going everywhere, and I'm like, fuck this. I wanted to go clean up some loose ends. I'm literally stopping halfway through, you know, or less. So
would you like to know a secret?
Sure.
You know how when you get to a From Software game and you get to the Anor Londo equivalent area where you fight the big cool thing, sometimes the guy that was used in previews or the thing that was being shown off, like Ornstein and Smoke or the Looking Glass Knight or what have you. And then the area right after it is like wildly terrible by comparison. Like everything after Anor Londo or the Shrine of Amana or the entire snow area in Elden Ring, that's Rao. Hey, you beat Mesmer. Now go to the penultimate area that sucks, actually.
And it's also that big. It didn't have to be so big.
So Rao is not just really huge, it's also super complicated because it has an entire interior that is just
the catacombs.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
That area sucks. The last area though is awesome.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I came in with the checklist of like a couple things and I was like, oh yeah, let me peek out in this direction. And then, saw the little like pathway over to Rao. And then like I was like, let me continue peeking my head in. And then that peeking my head in feeling lasted an hour and a half.
It's not a peek. It's not a peek.
I'm like, am I in a legacy dungeon or am I on the overworld right now? Like, what am I?
You're in an overworld.
What are we doing? And then a fucking giant shot an arrow up my butt, and I was like, I'm out of here. Fuck this. Like, I'll come back later.
That was when I got there. I was like, I had a big sigh, and I was like, I kind of just want to beat it.
Yeah. The snow didn't bother me that much in base game. It was a different pace of things. Definitely, and I mean it's a lesson learned after, like, again, we talked about Shrine of Amana and stuff, and like Anor Londo, I mean, still it was like it's pretty but empty, ultimately. Yeah. But then the library and such as you come through the
library is like the winner out of all those post game areas, but Tomb of the Giants and fucking Dragon Ass Lava Town are just fucking terrible.
So yeah, they just kind of. Anyway, it seems like there's just some things that they're just like super committed to, and if you make it to Rao sooner than later, I suppose, then that's I don't know I feel like that would be a burnout risk. Like, I feel like I'd need to look at it and go, what's this full area? Okay, cool. Let me save this for the end,
Well, the other thing is that Rao is like tough as fuck. Like the area is like it is like the second to last in the DLC's progression.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, just I went the other way around, past Bonnie Village and started doing all that. So cool. I also do appreciate that, like, after Gaius, it's like, all right, here you go.
Because it's not
earned
because
your
of
reward.
Gaius, it's because you're in a really cool, important place.
But I also think it's because it's like, hey, from here on out, step it up. Shit's coming at you hard, so you deserve to get a little stronger. Anyway, so
so my complaints about the bell bearings and Elden Ring space game, like on replay, like you have to beeline to them. It's gonna feel that way for the Shadow Tree fragments on replay of that DLC.
Okay.
Where you're like, well, I'm more than 50% weaker unless I go down this checklist of scavenger hunt, because I don't feel like going through every single dungeon and open world area ever again to scrounge for all of them.
So I wanted to shout out as well the Shadow Tree avatar, where I feel like they have, maybe in my opinion, they've probably perfected the annoying surprise there's more boss with ads.
That fucking thing, dude.
I loved it. Really felt like, okay, I see what you're doing. This is your classic, oh, it ain't done, fuck you, there's more, right? But because, well, one, like, even lore-wise, you're fighting avatars all over the base game.
But this one's a sunflower.
So, but it's like, because we were going to put them all in the same place, because why wouldn't the Shadow Tree have its own avatars? It makes perfect sense, right? And you have that first form that you evaporate, and then it pops back up, but like each time you have to get like that fuck you surprise moment, you can repost the last one, to do some starter damage on the next one. And then even when it comes back out and annoys you the third time around, you're seeing the move list change, but they're adding like these extra things with each phase. But the last third version where you're like, oh my god, really? We're doing it a third time? It's like, yeah, but it's fucking tired. And it's...
I thought I was doing something wrong.
Huh, how'd it go?
Like, I thought, like you said, I evaporated the first form. And then the second one wasn't that too much trouble. But when I got to the third, I was like, I had this feeling of like, I'm not doing something.
And you're not killing it.
And
right.
it's just going to keep getting back up.
Right. I was worried about that, but I noticed it was, well, one, the music, changes. And then two, it starts being really like slow and beat up in that third one, and that's when I went, oh, okay, no, wait, hold on, it's not just fighting forever, and because it's doing its final like big attacks, but they're all followed up by collapse into exhaustion, it felt like a slog that you were actually hurting the thing, and like the endurance wasn't just to annoy you. Fuck you, no, that's it. The progression across each one was enough to feel like you're getting it, and for anything like that up to that point where, whatever, 4 kings, 5 kings, any fights where you just like, even the snail that pops out at the end.
I have fought the God Tree duo and gotten through 5 Godskin guys.
Yeah, right? Like
5.
Where you're just like, it's fuck you, it ain't done yet, and there's no twist except for that. Like, lol, die, right? Where I'm like, no, like, it feels so much better if you feel like each one has something to it, And
the Great Ape is still the all-time best of this genre.
The beat up Sekiro fucking yeah. Like it's nice to get that feeling of like, it's gonna start doing its cheapest shit now, but ooh, I have it on the ropes. That's it. When the fresh Godskin duo pops up, you don't feel that.
No, you're just like, oh, they're spawning in another pair.
And
just beat this one down too.
Exactly. And the difference between giving the player that feeling of like, I have them on the ropes, is like your motivation evaporating and rolling your eyes, pausing it, and standing up to stretch, versus like, oh shit, we got him, let's go. And that's just it's a simple little thing you can do with the same concept of the idea, and so yeah, the Erdtree avatar was the Shadow Tree avatar, like they fucking figured it out, and I loved how they did that.
It makes me really excited for the next game they put out that is like a normal size. Like,
yeah.
All like, take all these lessons and just put them into a game the size of Dark Souls 1.
How sick? How sick would it be if like Miyazaki goes, "I've finally done it. This is the dream game," and it's like a modest 60 hours.
That's modest, man.
Like, it's like, yeah, it's just a really tight experience that's just like, yeah, we did it.
I think the irony is that I think I have played less Elden Ring than I have Dark Souls 1 or 2 or 3, because it took me so long to beat Elden Ring and the DLC that I was never like, oh man, I could just do it again. Whereas with all the other Souls games, I'd beat it and I'd be like, yeah, I could do another one right now. I could just start right the fuck over and do it again.
Yeah, I mean, what I want from every Souls game, and ultimately, I guess, like, whatever, I have my own thing that people know, you all know about, where I always feel like, why replay when you can experience a new thing? Whatever. But I always do feel like, I'm like, I want to experience this boss, and I want to go to the memory of just this boss.
In the older games, that's a lot simpler.
Bonfire Ascetic, or whatever, right?
Or just like, dude, hey, I want to fight the Adjudicator in Demon Souls. Okay, give me a half hour.
Sure, yeah, or just beeline. Yeah. and that's and even when I was talking about like Sekiro as well, it was just like, yeah, just let me go to a list and just go that. Let me hit the Great Ape again, because I want to fight Moog again. I want to fight the, you know what I mean? Like, I want to hit my highlights where I'm just like, yeah, these are the funnest fights, the Millennia and such.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily feel like rolling through Caelid, like that's not.
Doing it again. Doing all of that open world stuff again when you already know where everything is and the exploration aspect is done is very, very, very harmed. So I was thinking about why I feel so strongly about that compared to like a Skyrim or a New Vegas or something like that. And it's because the world is just a violent shithole that has no one in it that talks to you or is your friend, and there's no real like narrative dialogue or anything like that. Right? Like I like going into New Vegas and just wandering from place to place because then I'll get to a town eventually and I'll talk to people. I'll be like, oh, whatever, right? Caelid is just a violent attack zone.
Yeah. There's a difference to games where you get to take a load off. You never do quite get those in these games. You talk to people, I guess, a little bit, or or anytime you walk into like one of the 2 or 3 areas where it says like, hey, no fighting. You're like, oh, okay, we're gonna have a conversation for a minute. But yeah, I guess when push comes to shove, if I ever really do feel like it, I'll just go PC mod and get my own boss rush going. But that's all I ever really want out of these experiences is I want to redo some boss fights. I don't really feel like I want to redo the journey as much. So anyway, chipping away at that. This that's pretty much it. This week is gonna be a bit short. I'm gonna be not here. I'm gonna be gone for the weekend, but I'll be getting in. I think, a Phoenix Wright and a session of Elden Ring, and I'm going to be doing a Metaphor sponsored stream as well.
When's that?
I think possibly. I think I'm going to put it for next week or after this one. But going to be checking that out as well. Didn't try the demo out, so I'm not too sure. But I heard there's a lot of.
Is the sponsored stream of the demo?
I don't think so. I think it's the main.
Oh, then you'll have to wait till next week.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So, but I've been told that there's
we're going to talk about the demo in just a minute.
Peak magic racism.
In just a minute.
Yeah. Anyways, Wooly Versus on Twitch and YouTube for more of that.
Hey, I gotta use the bathroom before talking about my week.
All right, BRB. Yeah.
Hey, we're back. So let's think. Pat, what did you do with your week? Well, man, everybody wants to play fucking Space Marine. So this past week I had Mandalore and Duck Punk over on the show
Punk
and
Duck.
just shooting the shit and playing fucking Space Marine 2 co-op. And the takeaway, I think it was Duck that said it, was that it kind of feels like the same kind of thing as Monster Hunter, of like, you just want, hey, what are you guys up to? You want to log in and get some Space Marine out?
Okay. Or like
You want to bang out a couple co-op missions?
Or like Helldivers.
Yeah, very, very similar. Wonderful guests, hilarious guys. I had never met or spoken to Duck Punk prior. He seems really cool.
Punk Duck.
What?
Punk Duck.
Have I been fucking that up? I call him Ed most of the time because he prefers that.
Yeah.
Either that or Ducky. My bad, brother. But yeah, and this week Paige and Bricky are going to be playing Space Marine 2 co-op. That's on Wednesday. God, I need to actually look at the schedule. Yes, Wednesday over on Peach Saliva. It's really, so one of the nicest things about getting to know Duck is that I did not know he was crazy about Monster Hunter. And it has been a long time since I spoke to somebody new who was like, hey, did you follow the TGS? Did you see all the stuff? I'm like, no, actually, I don't follow that anymore. I don't have the time. He's like, if I see cool greatsword shit, do you want me to send it to you on Discord?
Yeah, like, yeah.
Yes, actually, I would actually really like you to do that. I appreciate it.
He's in there.
Thank you.
Sir Meow's husband as well. Boo is super in there. Like, there's some Monster Hunter fiending going on.
Okay, well, it looks like I figured out some people that I can bug about Monster Hunter once more. People in the chat are complaining about a sound, but I didn't hear anything. Weird. A loud noise, but I didn't hear anything. Did you? You didn't see anything.
No. Okay, I think that might have been me adjusting the mic, but
apologies.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, sorry to kneecap current flow. The main other thing that I did this past week was that I played the Metaphor ReFantazio demo.
Were slurs invented?
Listen. This requires
context.
Okay. So context 1, I was sponsored by Atlas to do a tweet campaign, which I almost won. I almost won that Royal Tournament social media campaign. Bruce Green beat me by saying no taxes, which I can't beat that. Nobody can beat no taxes. But they sponsored me for that Twitter campaign. They also sponsored me to play the demo, and they are also sponsoring me to put out a video next week.
Was it phrased no taxes, or was it phrased taxation is theft?
No, it was no taxes ever, only free video games. And it's like, that's tough to beat.
Gotcha.
I personally ran on I hate fire alarms. Let's ban fire alarms, which everyone agrees that they are not helpful. And they're useless.
It's pretty annoying when you hear a beep in the background of a video.
No, I'm just talking about like living in a large apartment building where the fire alarm goes off every time some dumbass smokes too much, like close to their alarm.
Gotcha.
And everybody has to evacuate, and there's no fire. But my point that I'm making is that I'm being very heavily sponsored by Atlas with multiple different projects. So before I talk about Metaphor, keep in mind that Atlas and me are friends now. Like this. Kissy friends. So the funniest thing about Metaphor, and you asking me if slurs were invented, is that part of the brief, the things not to do or say, one of them is racism. Now, you know what they actually mean What they really mean is don't go on an insane fascist tirade with the fucking Atlas logo on your stream, right?
Okay. Okay. Now hold on. Are we allowed to use metaphors?
Listen. So within
Don't do it.
Within
Don't
like
use
5
metaphors.
minutes of the game's start, a elf is referred to as knife ears. It is, and by the time you are done the opening cutscene like intro, you are watching dog boys being hung for nothing.
Oh my god. Okay.
Like it is
Wow.
it is a full blown like racial hierarchy society in metaphor.
Now, I rolled through 16 with some fucking, with some bearers, and that was, there was a lot of content. There was a lot of content. Yes.
There was some juice there.
I'm curious. So this is immediately then.
It's really fascinating because I've been talking to people about it and looking at people talk about it. And in the metaphor demo, you find out that your main character that you're playing is known as an Elda, which is the tribe that doesn't have overt animal or elf characteristics.
Okay.
They don't have dog ears. They don't have like a weird skin tone that's like a non-human skin tone. They don't have cat ears. They don't have ram horns, whatever. They're what you would look at and see as a normal person.
Okay.
As such, they are the most hated by society of all the tribes. And this shows itself like all the time. Like when you walk through the hub, like the main town, there are voice clips of passerbys going, "Ew, an Elda." Like, ugh, gross.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
There is a minor
Hostile
side quest
world.
in which you need to go buy medicine for someone's sick daughter, and it's a super classic JRPG like trope, right? Except you have to buy it from the church, and the preacher there explains to you, listen, I'm not even supposed to talk to you because you are banned by my religion, but just because I'm a cool guy, I will sell you the medicine for 10 times its cost.
Wait.
And your character goes, that's bullshit. And he goes, listen, I'm doing you a favor, really. I shouldn't even talk to Elda. So really, I'm actually being really nice to you.
Your existence is banned?
Yes. Elda are the only one of the tribes that exist outside of the game's like state-sponsored religion.
But like, are you banned from my site? Like what does...
No, they're a religious minority, and so it is taboo to interact with them at all.
Okay.
So like, yeah, no, it race politics all over the fucking place. All over, right away. And it's very in your face.
Oof, okay.
Like there's a very long conversation that I did not pick up on. The fact that the reason why the conversation is happening with a shopkeeper is because they scoped you out because they don't want you next to their store.
Oh my god. Okay. Wow. Yeah, so
it's a metaphor.
Yeah. Well, running around Tokyo in any of the Persona games ain't gonna necessarily have that happen.
No, not really.
Can't take on this type of issue in the real world.
It's a metaphor. Don't you get it? There's also a real element of this being like, okay, so metaphor is not a Shin Megami Tensei game.
No, it is.
It is also not a Persona game.
It is not. No.
However, they really want you to know that it's made by the creators of Persona 3, 4, and 5. And the main character looks like Aigis and Makoto's baby. hairband, hair color, the eyes, even down to like what is essentially headphones. The second character you get looks just like Yu Narukami, and he's even from the sticks. The third character you get is German Mitsuru. Like it is overtly hey,
sure,
it's not Persona,
but
Persona though.
Sure, but Simon Belmont is Light Yagami, right? So art styles are art styles. What about like actual, like monsters and affinities and
well, you see, Wooly, there's one type of monster that is above all others, and that is those dastardly humans.
The humans. That I remember reading that in the concept. Yeah,
those horrible, disgusting humans.
What an interesting play.
And they're all freaks. They're all like absolute, like complete, like nonsense creatures. And there's a lot going on with their visual presentation. Like in the anime cutscenes in which humans are depicted, all characters and environments are in 2D except for the humans, which are in 3D.
Ah.
Like to add to their otherworldliness.
Okay.
It doesn't have
biblically accurate humans.
Yeah, you're not going through Pixie and Jack Frost and Pyro Jack and Unicorn and Bicorn as your starter enemies. It is proper, unique fantasy enemies such as a big snake or an evil crow or some skeletons. With one exception. When you go into the class system, which is called archetypes, not demons and not persona, it's like a much more traditional class system where like you pick a class for your character and you level that class up and they get new moves.
Okay.
And you can switch it back and forth on anybody. It's kind of closest to like Final Fantasy Tactics system, honestly, where you have like a job and you can carry like a couple abilities over from any of the jobs you have unlocked.
So like all party members can do any job?
All party members can be anything.
Wow, cool. Okay.
The only difference is that party members will start with like default like stat growths. So like the first guy you get, it's like he tends towards physical.
Sure.
For example.
Sure. Yeah.
When you go into the like archetype like list and you see like, hey, what kind of archetypes we got in here? Well, some of them are called Devil Summoner and Soul Hacker and Persona Master and whatnot. And I believe in
not related.
Definitely not related. And also like Jack Frost is somewhere in the game. There's a trailer out that shows like the Persona Master can like summon Jack Frost as their ability.
Wow.
So it is very much like an atlas, like almost like a versus game of all their concepts together. It's really interesting. It's also I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. They put out like a 8.5 hour long demo.
I think they're thinking our full game is going to be stupid fuck you long. We can afford to give you this much.
Well, they're saying it's about as long as Persona 5, but it also has a post game.
Yeah, well, that's stupid fuck you long.
Right? So you can transfer the save forward, which is important because I have spent 7.5 hours recording footage for a video I'm making, and I haven't beaten the demo, and I don't think I'm going to bother.
Damn. Okay.
There are optional dungeons in this demo.
I saw some people describing that there's some secret ones in addition to like
there's
the
a
main
secret dungeon in this demo.
Man, the confidence.
That's ridiculous.
The confidence to give you fucking 8 to 10 hours of game on demo to be like, yeah, this is a taste. That's wild. Okay.
I'm typing something to you right now.
Yes. Yeah. I heard that. Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
There's a lot.
Also, it happens to be like super slick and super smooth. And the interface is gorgeous. and whatnot.
It's why you show up. We gotta see.
The music is incredible. I just learned a little bit ago. I thought that the lyrics of the combat theme, they were like singing in Latin, because that's like, that's what you'd kind of expect. But it doesn't sound like Latin. And I went and looked. It's Esperanto.
Esperanto.
They're singing it in fucking Esperanto.
Holy shit. After bringing that back, shout outs to Dracula Flow. We are going back into Esperanto again. That's hilarious. For those who don't know, Esperanto was a language that was developed fairly recently. That was
developed. First of all, that's weird.
It was developed. Yeah,
it was created
by the UN, I believe, in order to create a language that all humans can speak, that you can learn no matter what language you speak on the planet.
Turns out creating languages for people to use is actually a completely useless proposition, because you need native speakers to use the language to teach to other people.
But it was like, the whole thing was that like it takes like less than 2 weeks to learn it, and so it's supposed to be easy to pick up no matter what your thing is. But yeah, anyway.
So the demo's huge. It's super slick. It's essentially Persona 6 in a fantasy setting. Like during the demo process, you unlock the daily life simulator, which is, do you want to go to a dungeon? Well, you have to rest at night. If you don't do that, you can go out into the town and you can talk to people and increase your social stats. And your social stats include the one that's of most interest to me, because you're going to try and become the new elected ruler of the kingdom. One of your social stats is tolerance, which you level up by dealing with the various tribes.
You have to build your tolerance.
You have to build it up.
You don't have it by default.
No, you're starting. Yeah,
you start low.
Yeah.
Huh.
And you don't have social links. You have bonds that go from level 1 to 10, and as you level those up, blah blah blah.
In your natural state,
yeah,
you're intolerant.
You're highly intolerant. That's right.
Okay. Okay.
It works exactly as you would expect in Persona. Like, there's a little side quest about like, hey, maybe if you learn to cook, your wisdom will go up. It's really cool. I seem to like it a lot.
That's depressing. Also, sorry.
Yeah, is it?
That's really.
Listen,
that's
we all
really
gotta start somewhere.
That's really depressing. Yeah. Okay. All right.
What else do I want to talk about for it? Yeah, so they have fixed every problem I could ever have with any of their battle systems with this one. Every minor foil, like, actually, I genuinely, the changes to their battle system is the most interesting thing. So in an SMT game, you are fusing demons for your party, right? And then you skill inherit, and then you're kind of trying to manage like your fusions together through the demon compendium, and it can be a little cumbersome. And some games, like, you don't get to pick your skill inheritance, right? In this and in Persona, it's like, hey, do you want to switch Persona? Well, okay, what you do is you're in a fight, you go, okay, do I have one of my 10 have a fucking wind weakness? I'll switch to it and do the wind attack, and then I can all out attack everybody. So first of all, neither of those systems are used, and it is press turn from SMT.
It is, okay.
It is proper, like, mean as fuck press turn. Did an attack get nullified? Everyone loses their turn.
Oh shit, okay.
Kind of thing. And the way that it works is in your party menu, you pick your archetype before a fight. You go, I want to be a mage or a healer or a warrior or a seeker or whatever, right? And that's what you roll into in the fight, and that's what you have during the fight. That's what you have for the whole fight. You're not switching in the middle of a battle. You're coming in as what you came in on. But you can choose between any of those at any time, It's a relatively small unlock cost, and as you level those archetypes up, they learn new moves. And when you switch to an archetype, you can choose to inherit anything from anyone. So if I was,
okay.
let's choose healer, and healer starts with Hama and a heal spell, right? I could choose to spend some of the summon currency to give them the wind attack.
Is it using the same nomenclature, by the way? Hama is what it's called when you do a light attack? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There are slightly different like names. So like instead of Dia, it's Day for a heal spell.
Sure.
Which results in the healing spell in that game being spelled DEI, which is really, really funny.
God. You know, before the DEI, there was Latin.
Yeah.
But anyway. Oh my God.
Yeah, but basically you build up
everywhere.
your roles like a job system instead of
okay.
constantly switching back and forth.
And you, if you do switch to one, level something up, and then switch back to another, you progress, you keep your progress in each of those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you're just kind of
so you could be like, hey, I want to level up warrior just to get to the part where they get like critical up, and then go back to mage, and then just inherit critical up from warrior. And you're not switching in battle, but now everybody in your whole party is fully accessing the class system at all times.
Okay, so basically there's a bunch of skills to unlock in multiple directions, and whatever you unlock you keep, even though you change directions. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So like when you go to healer, all you have is the healer skills, except there's a slot for inheritance.
Okay.
And as you increase your bonds with your followers, from rank 1 to 3 to 5 to whatever, you unlock the advanced versions of those jobs.
But you only get to take one thing with you.
I don't know for certain, but I believe that the advanced jobs have more slots for skill inheritance.
Okay. So in the end, you're kind of going to have a very customized team.
Yeah. Also, oh, you unlock more slots? Great. Fantastic. Every archetype has your main character attack differently on the field.
Ooh, okay.
So in Metaphor, you start with like a sword, right? You don't have like the sneak attack or like single stab you would normally have in a Persona game. You have a 3-hit combo. And that's because if you want to do a sneak attack, you have to like get to an enemy and hit them with your combo until they're stunned. And then when they're stunned, you have the squad attack them, and then you start a random battle.
Oh, you mean like on the overworld? Like
yes, I mean on the overworld.
Your action button. Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
you are like it almost kind of feels like Dynasty Warrior. Like you are like roaming around the overworld, and you are attacking enemies as if it were an action game. And if you stun them, you get to jump into a random battle with them losing their full first turn.
Okay. Now, how in depth does that overworld combat?
So I didn't think it was in depth, and then I found out it actually really was. So here's a couple of things. So Seeker starts with a sword. You have a 3-hit combo, right? Well, your party will also join in on hitting enemies when you're doing that. So that's cool. And also, enemies that you can't stun in one combo will attack you back, and them hitting you with their attack is what causes an ambush.
Okay, so if you take any damage, you get ambushed. Yeah,
which is what dodge roll. So for enemies, if you want that first turn, you have to fucking fight them like an action game for a little bit
to earn the RPG
battle. Your free first turn.
It's fucking checkmate showdown over here. Interesting.
So that's how Seeker works. But if you switch to if you switch to healer, right? You have a piddly little staff, right? Just piddly little staff. Well, every time you kill an enemy with that, your whole party heals. and then you switch to mage.
What,
And mage,
kill an enemy as in like during the RPG battle?
oh no, sorry, I skipped a part. If you're 3 levels higher than any enemy, they auto die to your combo.
Earthbound, let's go. Earthbound
or
rules.
Yuji's thing.
Hell yeah. Delete.
So like as soon as you're 3 levels above, all enemies of normal strength will just auto die.
Awesome.
And they tutorialize it too. There's a whole section where you go through and they go, listen, beat up these dogs, and you just fight the dogs like it is Dynasty Warriors.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
And someone asks, do you get the rewards? You absolutely get the rewards.
Nice.
And then you switch your character to mage, and instead of having a swing or like a rod attack, mage does a fucking ice AoE around itself. And when you kill enemies, even auto kill enemies on the overworld, it regenerates MP per hit. So there is a class that they give you right away that allows you to regenerate your MP to full by just killing generic mobs on the overworld.
Whoa. Okay.
So you are going to be one-daying
which
every
class?
Dungeon. Mage.
Okay.
And it's one of the first ones you get.
And is MP treated as limited a resource as it usually is in these games?
Yes.
It's still...
But you can just get it back now.
By switching to that class and just doing it. Yeah. Okay.
So
sorry, I'm a bit...
all of the different archetypes will make your attack have different properties on the overworld.
When you mentioned Ryuji just now, is that something from Royale specifically?
Well, Ryuji had a thing in Persona 5 and Royal where if you maxed out his social link, you would just auto kill people that were below a certain level.
Okay. Don't remember. Maybe I didn't do it. Anyway, okay. Fine.
But yeah, no. So it is like probably my favorite type of like job system in an RPG, which is like set classes that you level up and get really strong, and you can add a little juice to it. The whole party can change it, and it has a really exciting like overworld combat section that like both like cuts down on time massively and also like can improve your chances in the fights.
Wow, that's a really interesting thing. I mean, like, yeah, I've gotten to like the first game running around Persona 3 and like stabbing your fucking sword or spear out and trying to hit the little mucks was always like, oh god, this could go so terribly wrong. Shit, did it make a noise again?
I heard that.
Sorry. Okay,
I heard a little beep. That's weird.
Okay. Yeah, let me fix this. I don't want that to happen. Something's up with the wire. Sorry. BRB.
Okay.
All right. So.
Yeah, it seems cool.
Yeah, they've gotten better at those things and like running around, fucking Naruto running through SMT5 and slashing shit. I was like, okay, cool, that's fun. You know, it's fast and whatever. But ultimately, it's still just like, you know, do you start at an advantage or disadvantage? And adding a roll and combo thing to that sounds pretty cool. That's interesting.
It feels pretty cool.
Yes.
Also, it makes sense as to like how you can expect people to blow through so many dungeons in a game that has like a limited like a time limit. When once you get strong enough for parts of that dungeon, there's nothing in the floor that'll even trigger a battle.
I wonder if this is like shit that we could look at and go like they're testing the grounds for P6.
No, it feels like all the other games were testing the ground for this. Like that's how it comes across.
It is a brand new franchise ultimately. Yeah. True. You can take all your lessons here. Okay. I'm curious.
Yeah, this is functionally Persona 6.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
It's kind
you get
of
it?
It's like a simile, actually.
Yeah. Or an analogy. So there's one thing that I didn't go into, which is the thing that surprised me the most, which is your character talks.
They're a person.
They're a person.
Yay.
They have their own dialogue. They don't talk that much.
Awesome.
But when you choose an option, they respond with their voice and they act in cutscenes. And they are a character.
Fuck yeah.
It rules, actually. It's way better.
Give me just role play a person. Don't insert. Love that.
They also have a real name depending on where you live. So every country has a different every language has a different default name.
Oh, you don't enter your own.
Oh no, you absolutely do. But if you choose that you don't want to do that, there is a default name that it will choose for you depending on your language.
Yeah.
So like in English, the character's canon name is Will. In Brazil, it's Pedro. Okay. In Germany, I think it's Victor.
Okay. Cool. That's fine. I mean, it gives you the option to say, I don't want to name myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also name yourself.
Oh. You still have to do that. Okay.
No. The game looks you in the eye and goes, hey, Wooly, what's your name, Wooly? And then it goes, you'll name it. At the bottom of the text, it says, you will name the protagonist later.
Ah, Earthbound. Okay. Sure.
A little bit.
Sure.
A little bit. Yeah, no, that game looks cool. I'm going to play a bunch of it. I can't believe I didn't fucking beat the demo. So I was originally planning to be like, hey, you know what? Forget the demo. I'm not going to bother. We'll just start the beginning of the game the day the game comes out. And now I'm like, if it does that, I'm not even going to get to the fucking new shit by the end of that week. Like if I start on the Friday it comes out. So I'm going to be playing through the demo this week on Friday and Saturday.
Does the demo start at the beginning or does it like throw you?
Demo starts at frame 1.
Okay.
Press start, go. Because it carries your progress forward.
Save progress. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So people out there are like just like getting to the point where in the final dungeon you have available where you can auto kill all the enemies because they're so over leveled, and over leveling fucking further in the week it's going to take for the game to come out. So there's going to be a bunch of people that are just going to fucking blow through that early game with massively fucked up overgrinded characters, and that's fine.
This thing's gonna be so fucking long, dude. It's gonna be so long.
So you want to hear something really crazy?
They don't care.
You want to hear something nuts? They give you the calendar. They give you the calendar. It's on the menu. Like as soon as you get it, the game's only got 4 months.
Oh, there's a calendar system happening.
Oh yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing.
They're actually you go to sleep and wake up and move. Okay.
Oh
okay.
Yeah, it's the same system. But it is 4 months from June to October, I think. 10? Yeah, June to October. Yeah.
Oh, so, okay. Because I guess like in an SMT game where there is no calendar, it's like you're not going to bed and waking up and going back out to a new location.
You're just grinding those dungeons.
You're moving forward in the fucking story and going to new locations. Yeah. But I guess here this implies that there's a home base that you are going to be departing from.
You know what, man? Somebody in the chat said, well, there's no school, so it'll feel longer. And like, you know what? That's a decent point. Every day is Sunday in metaphor because you don't have to go to school.
Okay. So then there's outside of actually running to like, because you know, like, because Persona, you have your dungeon and day, and then you have your, outside of that, you have your activities. Like, is it drawing a hard line between those things here as well?
Okay, so some of what I'm about to say is stuff that I gleaned from previews. It's not from my own personal experience in the demo. Okay. Right? So in the demo, you hang out in the main city, and it works identically to a Persona game. Do you want to go do something that increases your social stat or do a dungeon during the day? If you did the dungeon, then you got to sleep at night because you're tired. If you didn't do the dungeon, you can do social stuff at night. Like exactly the same system, right? The difference is that in the main game, when you finally get your creepy leg ship, I forget, Gauntlet Runner, I think it's called. You have to travel to various parts of the country in order to, progress the story and do side content. And if you have to go anywhere that will take you longer than a full day, the social stuff instead becomes hanging out with the people on your ship.
Ah, okay. So that's your base, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
I feel really bad because I'm planning to play the game on stream, and the amount of times that I just went, it's like a metaphor was like
it's an allegory, you say.
It was so overpowering.
It is a simile of a homonym.
Yeah. It's too easy.
Oh wait, that actually reminds me. I will not be streaming it. I will be recording it offline and uploading some shit straight to YouTube. So,
did you forget which fucking promotion you're doing?
Well, because I always go.
You're doing the same thing I'm doing. You're doing a video.
Well, yeah, but I always go, I'm just gonna stream it. And then usually it's not an issue, but this time it was. So
no, this time they want a video for the release.
Like, I'm on the stream. Fuck. Yeah. So anyway, whatever. So yes, it'll go straight.
Yeah. One
to
last
YouTube.
thing, because this is something that I hemmed and hawed over. So you choose your stats on level up for your main character, like an SMT game.
Okay.
It gives you one free level, and then it says, "Hey, where do you want to put a second point?" And you have to kind of make the decision: do I want to make a strength guy? Do I want to make a speed guy? And the way that stats work is when you have an archetype and you use it, like say you switch to warrior, it adds the warrior stats onto your existing stats.
Okay. Yeah.
If you've been pushing strength the whole time, then yes, it will do more damage than strength, right? But like there's always going to be a base minimum stat for everything, so you don't have to sweat it too bad. But if you do want to sweat it too bad, you don't actually have to use any of your stats on level up. You can bank them. You can bank them for as long as you want.
Whoa, okay.
And then you can just go on your next level up. It's like, do you want to use 2 points or 3 points or 4 points?
You can leave.
I'll wait.
You can leave the level up screen without spending it.
Yeah, and you can just go into your character's profile on the main menu and be like, you know what? I would like to use my points now.
Okay.
I've decided that I want my main character to be a magic focused guy. Let's push mag.
Now, even though you can change jobs, you can't respec those though, right?
I bet you can't.
Yeah, okay.
I would imagine you can't.
Interesting. Yeah,
and other party members they'll start with like very, very obvious stat spreads that are like, listen, this character's starting with their highest are strength and endurance. So You could make them a mage if you wanted, or a healer. Like, the game won't stop you, and they're still going to have a base level of effectiveness. But they'd probably be like a little more effective if you made them a knight. Or
well, I'm curious to see, like, when you if everyone can be anything, it's like, yeah. So if you take the white mage and make her start stabbing shit, or vice versa, like, how much is that gonna fight you with the
Well, it depends. So, like, one of your party members has really high endurance and really low magic attack, right? But if you put the mage job on them, they'll do less damage than another character's mage, but they'll have a lot more HP than the mage class would normally have. So at a certain level, it'll balance out.
But, like, the idea is, like, if you make them not the thing they're supposed to be, they'll be a bad version of that thing.
Yeah. No, it means they'll be a slightly less effective version.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I think the only two stats that would matter is, like, strength and magic, because they just affect attack power.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this game's got a lot going on. Oh, it also has, it has the Mass Effect Codex.
Whoa. Okay.
Because there's so much, because it's not taking place in the real world where you already know how things work.
Brand new lore, brand new setting, lot to establish. Yeah.
So a keyword will show up in red in a dialogue prompt, and that means it's been added to your codex. And you click in on the right stick, and it goes, "Hey, listen, you want to learn about what a Parepus is? That's a dog boy."
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to know what an elf is? Do you want to know how magic works?
Well, because shit. I mean, I saw someone say it's a 5-day work week, right? Like, there's no weekends. The calendar is different. So
yeah, maybe I didn't get that far. The demo only gives you 3 free days.
Okay. Because, yeah, like, if we're talking about an entirely different thing where, like, everything you know about the structure of the world system is different, then it's like, okay, well, yeah, a codex button is mandatory for sure. Cool.
Yeah, no, that game seems cool. So yeah, I'm gonna be trying to beat the demo. I should be able to beat it. I already got through most of it, so now I know how to do it good, right? It's a fucking optional boss in one of the mandatory story dungeons that I didn't even realize was a real fight. I thought they're like, sneak around it. It's dangerous. I'm like, okay. And I'll later find out, like, no, that's a real boss. You can totally fight that.
God bless.
So yeah, that'll be Friday, and Saturday will be the Metaphor demo. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be over at twitch.tv/PeteSaliva hanging out with Bricky and Paige, playing Space Marine.
God bless transferring your progress forward.
Oh, and Sunday this week over at twitch.tv, Pat stares at, is the Silent Hill 2 remake. That's this week. I'm titling that stream, Let's Try to Be Fair. Let's try to be fair.
Yeah, I think the worst outcome would be not having much to say.
I am not worried about that.
Okay.
I have a sneaking suspicion that there will be plenty to say.
Okay. All right. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
I love our sponsors. Today's first sponsor is Metaphor. I love Metaphor. You should go buy it.
Actually, this week the podcast is brought to you by Shopify. Cha-ching is the sound of a sale when you make it with Shopify. Yeah, that is the all-in-one commerce platform that can help you upgrade your business and take it to the next level. So, yeah, if you're kind of like us and you started out doing one thing and then eventually at some point unexpectedly found yourself going from talking about whatever farts in front of a microphone to,
I don't know what we're talking about.
right? And then eventually you're like, oh shit, we got to sell things to people. Then you got to figure out how to get a storefront up. You got to figure out how to get a cart and how people can check out and how to get things shipped to people and how to track where it goes and how it gets around the world and all these little aspects and elements to it. Um, you want to get Shopify, the home of the number one checkout on the planet. Um, it is a very yeah, it's a well-known, useful commerce platform that'll help you at all stages of your business. If you're just getting started with your first couple sales, or if you're hitting that millionth sale as well, if you're blowing up, it's the perfect platform to blow up with you. Yeah, award-winning support around the world as well. They've got the highest conversion rates on your shopping cart as well, and it is yeah, particularly useful. I know I besides the fact that it helped us get our shirts up and running. I also have noted that they're particularly useful with they have a little shop app that you can track things when they're on their way to you, and I find that particularly nice to know when
I
things
really
are
like that
getting
app
dropped
actually.
off. Yeah, it's handy to be like, oh yeah, this is coming in today. Okay, cool. You know, there's a lot of
Thanks for the
times.
heads up, buddy.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where I lose track of things like that. So those are all particularly useful bits and such. So um, yeah, very handy, and they are behind some of the largest chains and working businesses that have great product online. So if you've heard about Allo or Allbirds or Skims, they're powering those businesses as well. So what you want to do if you're looking to upgrade your business and get the same checkout experience that we're describing here, sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/superbeast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/superbeast to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/superbeast. Thank you, Shopify.
Thanks, Shopify.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by F.A.R.T. That is the healthy meals that you can get straight to you and save your time, save your headache, save your money, save a lot of stress that doesn't need to exist. And in particular, get good tasting food that is actually healthy for you. If you are
Is it better than just eating handfuls of Cheerios until I fall asleep?
I mean, you can do that and suffer the consequences. I don't know.
I would say everyone suffered the consequences for that decision.
I don't know about you, but I know that like I have a thing I've noted about my body at this point. When I have way too much sugar and fall asleep, nightmares guaranteed.
That is so wild, man.
Guaranteed. I can 100% confirm. I can give myself nightmares if I want to.
Let's sneak some sugar into Woolie's food and then film him while he's asleep and see what happens.
It's bad. If you want to see me fighting ghosts, you know, then just get my insulin way up before falling asleep. Yeah. I think it's just the way my body's processing it, and it's just active, and my brain starts getting active, and everything is like going, you know? I think it's also because I've been trying to eat healthier that I've been removing sugar from my diet in a lot of places. So I'm much more sensitive to it. So that can get tricky sometimes. And this is where, yeah, Factor has dietitians that are approving and making sure that each of these nutritious meals are good for you. So if I'm trying to do something like that and keep track of my calories, there's calorie smart options. If you're going keto, there's keto options. Gourmet Plus, vegan or veggie as well are all there. You've got 35 meals to pick from each week, plus over 60 add-ons to choose from as well. So you've got all the flavors and options you could want. You'll never get bored of that many. And again, the fact that they are healthy for you and you can make them in just 2 minutes is fantastic. So yeah, they've got some nutrient-rich smoothies as well that are pretty solid. And as someone who is trying to get that into I'm trying to yeah, the smoothie thing in particular is like becoming very useful because it's like I don't have to question how many calories it is. I don't have to question exactly what I'm getting. You know, like if I have something like that in the morning, it's a very clear thing I'm noting down that is always going to be the exact amount, and I don't have to like do any guesswork with it. So that's kind of important too as well if you're starting to, you know, be more conscious of this stuff. So yeah, check it out. Get yourself with the set up with the ready to eat just in 2 minutes meals straight to your door. Head to factormeals.com/castle50 and use code castle50 to get 50% off your first month and 20% off your next month. That's code castle50 at factormeals.com/castle50, and you're going to get 50% off your first month plus 20% off the next. Get in on those shakes. Do it.
I love you, Factor.
Thanks, Factor.
Nah.
And this week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by boot.dev. If you are...
Wooly, computer stuff is hard and I'm scared.
You should be. It is an daunting world out there if you're trying to learn how to code. But the trade-off for learning how to code is you can get yourself a really good-ass job.
Like a real job, not like this stupid thing that I do.
The median salary for back-end developers in the U.S. last year was over $100K, according to Stack Overflow. So programmers have a lot of potential to, you know, you can line your shit up and do really well for yourself. It is always a necessary talent. I feel like any team that I know is trying to get an idea off the ground needs to have a good programmer behind them. And if you're one of those people that's got like your own ideas and concepts and you want to put it all together, you know, there's a lot of programmers that have like learned how to get art and music done kind of after the fact, and with that ground like base level of talent, they've been able to execute ideas on their own, and it's always incredibly impressive to see. And even if it's not that, even if it's just like joining and you know, being a useful programmer as well, if you're trying to get better at it, or if you're looking at this as a career path, then this is where boot.dev comes in handy. It's a really cool website that's set up to help you learn Python and Go programming languages. And yeah, it's set up like an RPG. So if you're starting out and you're learning, instead of kind of just reading through dry textbooks and you know, doing it the long and unstimulating way, they kind of have these progress points that you go through levels, you try out challenges, you defeat bosses, you complete quests, you earn XP, you level up. There's a leaderboard as well, and each of the levels as you progress through them like gives you these different programming challenges you have to overcome and try out. There's tips as well that can help you. There's a 30-day no questions asked refund policy, a free demo you can try out with interactive features, and a really active Discord community you can check out as well if you ever get stuck on some of the coding challenges. So yeah, learning to code is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes time, and if you develop the fundamentals, then you can, you know, get yourself a solid job in tech. But doing it in a way that's gamified and really fun is a great idea. And yeah, checking it out and seeing how they've set it up at boot.dev has been pretty cool. So you can click the link in our description box and use our code CastleSuperBeast, and you'll get 25% off your first month or even your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. So yeah, you're going to want to go to boot.dev / promo equals CastleSuperBeast, and then you use the code CastleSuperBeast and you'll get 25% off your first payment on boot.dev. Thanks, boot.dev.
Thanks, boot.dev.
All right. All
right, I'm going to take this away. There's a big piece of news that we should have put into What Are We Playing, but no, it's news instead. Balatro is fucking out on your phone, shitheads.
Goodbye, everybody. Podcast over.
It broke the fucking Google payment system when it fucking launched on the Play Store.
Man.
And then fucking Jimbo, I saw him on Twitter just going like having a freak out because it's the top paid app on the Play Store.
So guess what? It's really fucking good, and
it's better than it is on your computer.
So I don't know if you been playing with a controller or a mouse on your.
No, I've been playing with my hands.
No, on the original version.
Oh, the original version? Oh, I've been playing on with a mouse.
Okay. Because
what I would do is that I have my back when the boy was a potato, when he was in potato form, I would just crookify him in my arm here, right? And he'd be just a little tiny potato, and then I would just use my mouse.
Okay.
But now he can turn and look at the TV and all that, so no Balatros on the TV since he stopped being a potato.
So I still think that's I do prefer my ability to play on the PC. I had just used the mouse, so it's the least amount of movement required to just use one hand. There is that because I was playing with the pad and stuff, and in this case, the conversion over to touchpad still got to hold the phone, admittedly. However, the system they've changed by having you drag things to areas of the screen to sell,
awesome,
or buy or use is
awesome,
fucking tastic, man.
It's great.
Yeah, real quick. Takes it's just it becomes instinctual very quickly. You just kind of anytime you're in the shop, you drag something to the top of the screen to sell it, or to the right to buy it, and beyond that,
party's over.
It's all and then tap and hold to get your description, and the rest is just fucking Balatro. That's it. I know there was a bit of a kerfuffle as well when it went up because it was in-app purchases, but I think it was just turned out to be the free demo can be converted into a full version.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yo, hey, now that the mobile version is out, Jimbo, you need to Vampire Survivors this and just fucking put out a micro DLC every fucking 2 months, and people go, how do you keep putting out more? It's crazy. Just make up 400 new Jokers.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. So I started playing just to mess around a little bit there, and I still want to get my nan-inf on the base game first. I'm trying to accomplish nan-inf, which is when you break the score, and you can the thing that it displays is NAN.
Yeah, it's fuck it, I give up. The math, it's hard.
Well, so apparently it turns out that it stands for not a number, exponent infinity. Right? That's what naninf means. Yeah, which is awesome. Literally, we've lost the plot.
The game's just listen, it's gonna crash if I keep running these calculations.
Great stuff. I've got my strat. I've got my tech going, and I'm trying to work on getting that set up. But fucking go get Balatro on your phone. It's just the ultimate time waster. It's done.
It's the best. It's the best.
Okay, a lot of shit for this week in particular because there was the state of play. So just to go outside of the state of play first, and we touched on a few things on the way here. So we touched on Front Mission 3, the TGS demo footage.
Oh.
I want to go take a look. That sucks because I've been super duper looking forward to that as my wanting to get through that. I've been talking about wanting to do a regular one for a while, so we'll take a look and see. Also, we touched on as well, City of the Wolves is getting Ken and Chun-Li as guest characters, and that's cool. We'll see how they handle the Cristiano Ronaldo matchup.
We'll see.
Not too sure how that's gonna go. And that's all fine and dandy. Minor little thing as well on fighting games, but Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact was supposed to come out later this year, but it announced it's going to be delayed till 2025 because they're adding rollback.
Hey, that's weird that they hadn't. What?
Well,
What were you doing?
They said they're delaying the game until next year to add rollback, and to that I say, sounds good. Have a nice day.
That's why we're.
No problem. Take it easy.
Why were you gonna? Every game that fucking company puts out already has rollback netcode. Why were you even? That's weird.
Well, so because it's not necessarily direct ArcSys, it's Bushiroad, right? Aiding in Bushiroad.
Oh, okay.
And in a lot of cases, the publisher will determine how online and shit like that is handled. See Dragon Ball Fighters.
You guys should add rollback netcode to that Hunter x Hunter game. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's like they finally anticipate the same noise that is made about every other game, and then I'm sure when they go to Evo and stuff, and people walk by and try it and go, "Y'all putting rollback in, right?" And they'll be like, huh? Yes, sure," and make a note and bring all that feedback back to the devs. So, yeah, great, good stuff. Take your time, add it, make sure it works. And maybe also, well, I don't know, we'll see, I guess. But boy, those kids are real stubby in that fucking game. Kind of feels like when you're playing as Gon or Killua, like
a little bit.
It's like Beautiful Joe, little small limbs.
They're tiny little nubs.
They're tiny little kids. So, but yeah, no problem there. I don't know how much of a story or what is going on here, but for some reason, a Steam page has popped up for GUNZ the Duel. And I don't know if you remember, but I've talked about GUNZ the Duel quite a few times as one of the fucking most awesome games for movement ever from an era of the internet long ago. GUNZ the fucking Duel was an awesome game that just had you shooting and swording in an arena, and you could fucking butterfly off walls and shotgun or Uzi or whatever. And its downfall, besides some like bad monetization, was just the amount of cheating was so fucking out of control. It was rife with cheaters. And then there was also that level of like soft cheating almost, where it's like, okay, so I'm not doing an instant infinite health and wall hack and my gun deletes you cheat, but I did change all my textures so that everything is gray and like faded out in the environment, and only the players are like visible and dark. And you're like, oh my, like
my experience with GUNZ the Duel was like so, like I'm so sick of GUNZ the Duel.
Really?
Because I remember playing Max Payne 1, which was an incredible game, and being like, oh man, it's really cool how Max Payne 1 feels like the Matrix. And every time I would say that out loud, somebody would go, man, you know what's really like the Matrix?
Yeah.
GUNZ the Duel!
Yeah, because you had characters that could do the Trinity wall run as a part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But besides people saying that in an annoying way, did you ever get to try it?
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
Okay, well,
I never cared for it at all. I genuinely never saw what the big deal was about it at all.
Well, it's really fun. The dueling was really cool. Making different builds with different types of guns and different swords, and finding the right movement to fight people was a whole lot of fun. It had really, really fast kind of like snap aiming and moments of mid-air dueling that was really sick, and in a time when that didn't really exist in a multiplayer context.
Yeah, I know. I remember like playing it and being like, there's nothing here that makes me want to play this over Quake 3 or Unreal Tournament or Day of Defeat or Counter-Strike.
Yeah, so I could wall run and third person wall kick off into taking somebody out and then or slashing them and keep it going. That's way more. I love that more than, like FPSing in a lot of cases.
Oh, you know what? I'm watching footage right now and I'm like, you know what it is? I believe that your feet in a shooter should be glued to the floor.
Oh, I hate that. That's boring. That sucks. That's why I love Titanfall so much.
That's why Battlefield Bad Company 2 is the best fucking shooter of all time.
My favorite thing about Titanfall is how little your feet stay glued to the floor. So there we are diametrically opposed. You know. Yeah. So,
yeah, no, I like people in the chat like, no, I like my shooters boring. I want my shooters to be boring as fuck.
I mean, you know, my neuron activated when I saw the double eject grappling hook kill in Titanfall.
Though Titanfall is an exception because Titanfall fucking rules.
But that's the thing. But it rules because of the ingredients, you know, and some of those crazy movement ingredients were long ago seen in Guns the Duel.
Yeah.
In particular, like doing wild shit, like again, yeah, butterflying off the walls was so crazy. You just fucking Mega Man wall jump your way through a stage where the verticality of the stage mattered as much as the actual layout horizontally, you know. So, but it was, yeah, and then you know, like there was the cool shit you could do where you could like do the Trinity run off the wall. Like as cool as that was, it was also like, well, now you're on a path that can be.
Yeah, it's very DMC2. It was like, you're actually not going to use the wall run all that much.
You don't want to telegraph yourself for that long, you know. I remember when you were telling me about multiplayer PvP in Warframe, right? And you were talking about how like it's not intended for that, but like the modes exist, and in it movement is like the most important thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's also like fucking terrible. Like it's terrible.
Okay, well, I can't speak to anything about Warframe.
Like guns. Okay, Warframe PvP is bad enough that if you were to play it, you would understand why I'm not interested in Guns the Duel, because Warframe PvP is like the worst of all worlds. It is remarkably terrible on every level.
Yet the PvE is so good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's crazy. It's crazy how bad it is.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is a just surprise thing. So it seems as if it's like this might not even fully be a North American release of sorts. It's confusing.
It says like languages are not supported on the Steam page.
Yeah, like I don't like I saw this got posted, and I don't know that we have any info as to why this is happening. But either way, it's an old game that had its servers died off, and that was it. And then I think there was like a pseudo sequel that came afterwards that was just not even remotely the same at all. Like there was like a Guns 2 thing that kind of I remember people were not too happy about. But Guns the fucking Duel, man, that's a throwback. That's some good shit. I really hope we get a chance to jump back in there, because yeah, I spent a good I don't know how long it was. It might have been just like a heavy summer, and then like some months afterwards, you know. But like I was in there with some friends back in the day. We don't talk about Guns 2, fair enough.
Guns 2, I remember hearing people just hate that fucking thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They hate it.
It was also Guns the Duel was also pretty fun because they had some cool artwork, you know. I don't remember if it was like Hyung-tae Kim specifically, but it was like that style. And like some really cool like trench coat fucking, you know, manhwa character designs. But yeah, that popped up, and then just a bit with Stellar Blade cross Nier Automata.
Like I saw that trailer and I'm like, oh cool, they're bringing costumes, and then they show the Stellar Blade 2B chick in like the fucking amusement park area. I'm like, oh no, wait, it's a thing. It's like a real thing.
The thing that is stylistically, you know, taking after the original thing is now straight up pairing up with the original thing, and we're putting it all together so you can goon while you goon.
Hey, listen, hey Wooly, I have a question. Do you know why they're doing the crossover with Nier Automata?
Yes, because according to the official Nier Twitter account, they say we will gladly say yes to anything for money.
So like 2B has been everywhere. 2B is like one of the most crossovered characters. And if you were ever like, why is that? And it's because the people who made Nier Automata are like, give money though.
Yes. No fucks given. Yoko Taro is quite clear.
That's great.
Yes. Money?
That's great.
Money and she's yours. Whatever you want. Anybody.
Reminds me of John Carpenter getting asked like, hey, would you ever direct another Halloween movie? And his response like, if they paid me for it, yeah. Well, the real underneath of that is if they paid him what he thought he was worth to direct another Halloween movie.
Right. Well, I mean, speaking of paying people and acquiring money
dollars.
Yeah. What say we take some of that 2B money and we get it over to the folks that made the day before, because they just had a rough start, but Fantastic is looking for a second chance.
Bro, they fucking covered their tracks running away off of that game.
like the vacuum behind them to like erase the fucking
yeah, man. Like
so yeah,
you can't have another bite at the scam apple.
But that's where you're wrong, because
you're right.
What if I use my words and then you go, damn, I'm gonna reach for my wallet right now, right? What? Like,
oh my god, it's a Kickstarter? Are you fucking...
Of course it's a Kickstarter. And
oh my god.
Sometimes the scumbag leaves town forever and you never see them again. But sometimes they put a mustache and hat on and they come back in the back door. And hey.
Yo, this is a double scam.
All right, so we talked about this one some time ago, but there was a game called The Day Before that was being released by a company called Fantastic, and they crowdfunded, and basically there was a lot of shit leading up to this Kickstarter that was looking pretty dodgy. And in the process, there was a number of things that were starting to come to light, including like unpaid workers and trademark disputes and overall as well quality just being like shit. And the whole thing led to people being like, okay, so this is just a scam, right? And then the game launched in early access, and then when people got their hands on it and basically saw how bad it was, it shut down immediately, and they kind of just disappeared. People got their refunds on it, but it was this a wild moment where they replied, "This is our first big experience. Shit happens," and then they disappeared. So they have since now come back around. They're starting a Kickstarter. And the core principles are now honesty, transparency, and professionalism. And so the goal is to kickstart a new project and see if they can make some money. And I you tell me what you need to do to have you leave here in a brand new Toyota. What can I do to put you in a new Toyota today? Just, you say the words, what are we looking for? APR, financing?
Well, trust is the basis of all relationships. So nothing.
Come on, the wolves are at old Gil's door, bro.
Nah, man, you ran away before. Steam had to refund those people, which means Valve had to fight it out with fucking the devs, right?
And so they're on Twitter going, everyone got their money back. It wasn't a scam. What are you saying?
Dude, that wasn't you. That was Steam gave the money back.
Okay. So
Bro,
we just
come on.
overly ambitious goals and a low indie budget without AAA teching or experience, embellished marketing, which we deeply regret. So yeah. Anyways,
Embellishment's one of those fun words where you can like exaggerate. Hey, Pat, it wasn't 10 years ago. It was only 2 years ago. Okay, that was an exaggerate. My brain said really long time. Embellish is like, listen, I have the best cake for you. Oh, it's a store-bought McCain Deep and Delicious. Oh, that's a bit embellished. But embellished can also mean we have a fully functioning game for you. It was fun to play, and then it's not at all. It's a broken piece of fucking shit. It's technically accurate to say you embellished it. Technically.
Well, this is one of those times where, each of the tweets that came out announcing the studio's new project were just like fucking hit with those community notes, like literally just warning potential scam, like. Before you consider giving Fantastic money, remember that they lied about the state of the day before to investors, volunteers, and the gaming community, with some links to some videos and such. Anyway, at the original time of writing, they had made about $100 of the 15 they're looking for, but it seems as if it's growing. So you get the word out there to enough people, and some people are like, you know what, man, I do want to be in a Toyota.
Everybody has their own choices to make. I would recommend whoever is listening to me, you're going to do whatever you're going to do, right? I would think very hard and long about not doing anything in regards to this game. I usually think about not doing it.
Well, the fun part about, projects where you don't quite know what the fuck is happening on Kickstarter, if the game does complete and come out, then you can always do that after it's out and good and exists.
Yes.
I would recommend purchasing the car that exists as opposed to investing in the production from.
Yeah, like maybe you were like, I don't know about Shovel Knight. I don't think the way forward can do it. And you know what? I'll buy it later when it's done. And then Shovel Knight came out and has been out for years and years and years. And if you wanted to play Shovel Knight, you'd be like, oh, people like that game. I should buy Shovel Knight. And you could buy it, and then you would have it, and it would be real.
Okay, but what if Way Forward took the money and went to Tacoma?
I mean, they could do that.
And then came back.
They could do that. They could do that if they wanted.
and then held their hat out. Okay. All right. Well, excuse me, Yacht Club.
Yacht Club, my mistake. They split right before that. I always get it so confused.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, all that aside, the other thing was we got to take a look because TGS is happening. Death Stranding 2 on the beach introduced a bunch of new Kojima bullshit.
Hey, do you want to have a photo mode? Sure. What if it's a Kojima-esque photo mode? What does that mean? Well, it means you don't want to take photos of the characters, do you? Who would want to do that? No, you want to take photos of the actors behind the scenes. What?
I think.
No, I don't.
I think it's been long enough that Kojima's like, hey, are they still mad about the Beauty and the Beast system from Metal Gear Solid 4? Does anyone remember? No?
I do.
Shut up. We're doing it again. So you could fight the bosses in MGS4 and then go into photo shoots with them because they're all like models, and they have this kind of secret mode to it. And they're like, yeah, let's just do it again. It's fine. Fuck it.
Something like violently parasocial of including the actors messing around for the photo mode so you can take photos of the actors in your video game.
I mean, the fun bit about that is like the recordings of people just kind of improvising, just making noises, going like, ha ha ha, yeah, woohoo, like, yeah, they're like, hey, whoa, hey,
Put that in the game.
Yeah.
I'm a genius.
Like that was content. Me just going like, whoop, Anyway, we got introduced to Tar Man. George Miller.
Hey, do you guys like movies? I got my movie friends.
I put my movie friends in the turn. I put my movie friends in it. Look at my movie friends.
Hey, Guillermo del Toro was here. I like his movies. You know who else's movies I like? This guy.
Ah, damn. Kojima wants to be in Mad Max 3, man. Or rather, Fury Road 3. Yeah. He's in there. And that's, it's cool. Does his thing. Doll Man, who we saw, is just, I guess, so this is your, like, you gotta have your Mimir or your, what was his name in Lollipop Chainsaw? Kevin?
The boyfriend.
Yeah, or something like that. You gotta have your little, just, like, little puppet man, little fucking Thunderbolt, or not Thunderbolt, Thunderbird puppet hanging off your shoulder.
Yeah, obviously.
So, Doll Man is that, and we saw him in the trailer as well with the lower frame rate as well, right? He's got like some of that Spider-Verse frame rate going. And then then we got into a couple scenes with Tomorrow and Rainy. Just the most. Just the Kojima names.
we're really getting to experience a career being defined as how far can a creative go in a situation where no one is even imagining the case of telling them no. Right? Like eventually Kojumbo is going to release like Megalopolis, and you're going to be like, Kojumbo's gone too far.
Has he? Or is it never enough?
Is it never enough? It might never be enough.
He spent an entire career building up the momentum to never be told no. Why start now? And yes, I heard that thing is insane. I'm curious. I kind of
we are like rapidly approaching like where the phrase Kojima is a genius may or may not be farce depending on who you're talking to. Because like Doll Man, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I can see a situation in which someone is going, I can't believe how incredible Doll Man is. And them either like making fun of Doll Man or actually being legitimate about Doll Man.
But has he missed?
Yeah, I would say he's missed. There's some misses. They're not total misses, but I have some definite qualms.
Qualms is fair. Qualms is fair. Has he missed? I don't think he has missed. And because of that, he gets to continue doing whatever the fuck he wants. That's it. That's why. That's exactly it. Trust. There's always qualms, but he has not missed. That's it, man. Yeah. That's why.
When are they going to show off Snake Man and Elect Man and Guts Man for Death Stranding 2?
Hey, I think it's cool that Heartman can fall anywhere, anytime, and be okay. They gave him a little catch suit to be like when he's when his heart shuts down, he gets like frozen and the exoskeleton saves him.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. And let's see who gets to drop the Oscar-winning performance this time around.
I did not think it was going to be fucking Die Hard Man. I really didn't.
Damn.
Right at the end, just
At least this time around, I know when I see these little moments happen, like you have like that moment where Fragile, like she kind of goes like, yes, now I'm only fragile in name only, and then like the little hands light her own cigarette, and then the tear comes down, or like Heartman like collects the tear and puts it into it, and I'm like, right now, don't stop and try to figure out any of that. Because even in the moment with context, you will still not understand, nor will you ever let it rock. You might.
Hey, let's all take a step back And remember, the reason why the enemies in Evangelion are angels is because Anno thought it sounded cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Christian mythology.
Don't think too hard. It's because angels is a cool name. That's it.
Anytime, like, Christian mythology still holds power over folks, and so when you fuck with it, it's like, ooh, you know, it's the same thing in like SMT world or any of these games, right? Ooh, there's a little naughty, little ooh to it. Lucifer, oh.
You know what I think is different about Kojima? He'll never admit that it's only in the game because he thinks it's cool. Like, you know that's why. But like, I'm looking at a screenshot of Tarman right now, right? And there's a tar cat. There's like a magic tar cat with Tarman. And why is the tar cat there? I bet you anything it's because he saw a black cat with somebody put a Halloween decoration on him. And he was like, what if that was made out of magical tar? Oh, cool. But then he will start telling you about the fucking stick and the dinosaurs lost it's the fucking oil and shit.
Because black cats are important to Egyptian lore.
I could throw this. I could throw something. It's lies. It's lies.
Because there's
what's up with that shit after?
Because the link between cats and Egyptian lore, when we go back, we know that they have been sacred animals, and they.
Dude, I'm getting more and more convinced that he is writing his stories backwards.
I don't think he has to. I don't think he has to explain it, or I don't think he has to admit it, because from day one, it was like, yo, do you want to be fucking Kurt Russell shooting at a mecha?
I do.
That's it. Remember that movie? That was cool. So like, it's self-explanatory, right?
And then about it.
Well, and then in the middle of doing that, if you can learn a thing or two about Muff, then you're like, whoa, real politics and real, you know, FMVs? I didn't expect that. That makes me feel like this is more cool, because he also, it's like those guys that are like super into like the simulated gunplay stuff in Japan, where they get like the really, really realistic pellet guns, you know, and it's like, you're not going to have real guns, but you can get really, really close with these pellet guns though, you know, and just drilling that shit is like, that's the fun in and of itself, the simulation of it. It's that. It's when the cool robot thing has actual application and or resembles some real tech somewhere that you get that extra fucking geek boner going.
It's overwhelmingly so. This feels like I encounter it anyway more with Japanese writers, where the three that come to mind is Kojima, Araki, and whoever writes the fucking Zero Escape games, where there's like a moment where they just pull back and go,
Ushikochi?
Maybe. I'm not familiar with their name. But like, they pull the camera back and go, you guys want to talk about this stuff I read on Wikipedia last night? Did you know that Singapore is named after the lion? Did you know that shit? It's crazy.
And then how do I take this wiki dive from tonight and last night and find a fucking pun for them?
It's bordering on catchphrase for me now whenever I encounter this, where I utter the phrase, have you ever heard of the Philadelphia experiment?
Yeah. It really is though. I think I nailed it though, when like at the very least the part that's like obsessed with puns is because in Japanese, the multiple readings of words is a huge part of like.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a linguistic change, and it's a cultural.
It's humor. There can be jokes with the spelling of a name being read two ways, but there can also be philosophical meaning in.
Think about think about it. This is the shittiest example I can think of. I think of Ninja Gaiden Z Yaiba. A fucking title that means nothing to non-Japanese speakers.
Sure.
Means nothing at all.
Sure.
Until you find out that the word yabai means bad. So it's bad ninja.
It does. Yabai. It does mean bad.
Ninja Gaiden, but the ninja is bad. You can't.
So it's similar to Yaiba. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Right. Yes.
Yeah. It's a metaphor. Thank you, Chet. It's a metaphor.
No, it really is just like, it's looking at the English language and going, how can we have multiple readings on this kanji? And it's like, but there are none, Hideo.
All right, well then I'm gonna do it in English in the bluntest, most insane way possible.
And we're like, you mean the things we do in like fucking grade 3?
Yes, that is what I'm doing. Because I am a genius.
Did you like it? I kind of liked it. Now listen to
like a lot of the English characters' names feel like they're deeper than they are when you're talking about it in a non-English language. Why is he called Die Hardman? Well, you see, there's a movie called Die Hard.
I was gonna say it's not because I watched a Bruce Willis movie one time. You know, certainly not. It has something to do with gourds, actually.
Yeah, definitely. The stick and the rope.
I can't fucking wait.
You combine a stick and a rope, and you know what you get? A harpoon. And you know what you use to kill harpoons with? Ocean animals.
And the thing is, last time you were still, if you, amongst all that bullshit, you were still just saving the world from nuclear apocalypse while fucking defeating robots and fighting cool dudes with superpowers. And now you're just fucking trucking.
Yeah,
you're
man,
trucking and parcel delivering.
We trucking out here with ghosts. Like Death Stranding is a Dracula flow like parable, like stanza.
You would think the gameplay would be the most complex, insane action narrative thing ever, and it's just ropes, zip lines.
Nah, dude, because human connection persists throughout even the most bizarre and outlandish of circumstance, and people are always gonna need diapers and iPods. So you got to get out there and truck it till there ain't no more ghosts.
Also, I would say that like getting through Death Stranding, like the horror at first, the whole thing felt very horror, right? Because you're like, the invisible fucking Satan zombies are gonna grab me and float me into the sky. Yes. I better kill myself before they take me, right? That's proper horror. And like now you're like, oh, we know the rules.
By the end of Death Stranding, the ghosts that are auto-kill nightmare ghosts from beyond the pale are like a construction up ahead sign.
So
like they're banal.
Exactly, you know. And so I think we just have to keep everything as weird as possible because like when the scary is not there anymore, the weird is still like you're still reacting to it as opposed to having no reaction at all, you know. If this played off of more like scary, threatening invisighosts that we are not afraid of anymore, it wouldn't have the same hit as like what the fuck is Gitaru Man doing over here? What you know, like I feel like he has to keep it weird to keep us reacting to it.
Bro, Death Stranding has like a really special place in my heart because it's one of the only games Kojima put out in which like one of the parts of the core themes was like disproven within months of the game's release. Because scientists were actually there was a bonus extinction. There was another one. And so like that, but then but deeper than that is like I completely disagreed with the game's core theme to the point where I got like soft locked during one of the game's final encounters.
I feel like Kojima is almost the ultimate example of like the belief that art is anything that elicits a reaction in you.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate version of that.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to feel something. Anything.
I'm feeling confusion.
Good.
Art.
Yes.
Amazing. Is that confusion scary? Do you feel like a rope or a stick? What, dude?
Good. Like,
oh yeah, no, yeah, you fucking zoned right in on it.
You know, like where other people are waiting and love it when their audience goes, "Fuck yeah!" Hideo loves when you go, "What?" He gets,
but I
he gets
the key.
off. He gets off on people going, "What?"
I thought I deactivated it.
Loves it. Loves that response. Oh God. All right. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Beach full of.
Hey, before we move on, I'm actually going to take another bathroom break, if that's all right.
Beach full of sandy. Okay. So that all aside, yeah, State of Play had a number of announcements as well, and there's a lot. We can point out the things that are notable.
I don't remember anything. That's weird. Soul Reaver remaster. I actually like that.
Yeah, we touched on that. Ghost of Yotei.
Oh, you mean Ghost of Woke? Ghost of woke ass shit ruining video games?
Pretty cool. I'm curious about. I like that we're jumping forward in time 300 years. Different location. We'll see what's going on. New stuff. I liked it. That's cool. Do we have to do this every time? Is this forever? This might be forever. I kind of hate that this is forever now. It fucking sucks that it's just forever. I don't have the wherewithal, man. Okay,
so I brought this up very, very briefly right before the podcast, and Wooly just said basically what he just said right now. And I was like, but no, not actually, because this nonsense is actually starting to already cannibalize itself. And to me, there is a before and after in the ongoing wokeification and ruination of all video games. And that is Space Marine 2 hitting the too woke Steam curator list. That is the turning point where it is now like there's no criteria anything could ever meet that would make these people happy. So Wooly, you haven't played Space Marine and you're not super familiar with 40K. 40K is like fascist jerk off propaganda for the God Emperor of mankind.
God Emperor of mankind. Yeah.
It is so over the top that like
cleanse the heretics.
Did you watch 40K painting videos? Hope your recommendations don't fill up with great replacement theory tutorial.
Cleanse the heretics, for the glory of mankind. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and so it's like this. We're like maybe a year away from every single game to ever release going on these types of lists. We're never going to go back. It's never going to go back. And like these people are just going to get angrier and angrier and angrier and angrier as the world ceases to like cater to them.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. How big are those Russian paychecks, man? What's going on?
The part that gets really funny is that I don't even want to use their name because I don't want to invoke their power. But one of the worst people about this nonsense actually really likes Ghost of Tsushima and wants to play Ghost of Yotei. But the monster they have created does not allow them to be excited for Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah.
Because their social media presence is filled with people going, no, everything's wrong. And they're like, well, it actually is kind of cool though. And they're like, no. And it's like, you created this for yourself. You've narrowed it down so tight that nothing fits in the definition.
I mean, I guess you get to watch you get to watch them keep that same energy on release or play it angrily while frowning.
I think
play it while nodding your head.
I think we are on the cusp
the whole time
of these guys playing woke games in the closet
because the gameplay is sick,
like someone mentioning the main character's name or a detail in the story of Ghost of Yotei, and people are like, how do you know that? You playing those woke games?
Closet woke is wild. Oh man. Yeah.
And then like let's just all sit here and like hug ourselves and feel the warmth of the countdown to a comment either on this clip that you're going to put up or the podcast itself or a quote tweet of the podcast going, why can't we just go back to the good old days of non-political video games like Metal Gear Solid? And just fucking that warmth, that heat bubbling up in your chest.
You know, I like these Rage Against the Machine guys should really just stick to the music, you know?
Those are the two, right? Those are like the funniest ones. Or like a System of a Down is the other one.
System of a Down, yeah. It's just right. Yeah.
It's just this like it's this increasingly narrow worldview, and it's like it's never gonna go back. And also, it wasn't even how it was.
It's just the first thing before I even knew the game existed was, you know, Ghost of Yotei or whatever, and I was like, oh, they announced
this. Fucking hilarious.
They announced the Tsushima sequel, did they? That's cool,
yeah.
I guess. What's the issue this time? You know. Oh man, yeah.
It's also doing that thing where the misogyny is getting so intense that it's coming off like incredibly gay.
How so?
Oh, gross women. We just need games for men with men in them doing man stuff.
I see. Yeah. I mean, the part that is always, though, in the back of my brain is that little thing that it's like, okay, but also if I say the dumbest shit now, I can make some money on it, right? Like,
that's the trick, right?
There's the direct incentive to say the dumbest shit.
So, like, if you were to go to jail now for some kind of crime, like some kind of like drug-related or horrible sex scandal, you could just say, "Hey, listen, man, actually, it was the secret shadow government that was out to get me because I'm too fucking based." You want some fucking nutrients and vitamin pills?
They were trying to stop me. Yeah. Well, anyway. Hey, there's a Ghost of Tsushima sequel.
Cool. It's called Ghost of Yotei, which, first off, great naming convention. That's going to go a while. Good job.
Takes place in Hokkaido 300 years later.
And it takes place at a time period in which that part of Japan wasn't Japan.
Yep. So
it was just the wilderness up north.
Yeah, and I think too, like, we've been getting inundated with samurai games, you know. But I feel
actually we're being inundated with one less samurai game in the near future.
Oh,
you have the Assassin's Creed shit on the docket?
No, what happened?
Oh, Assassin's Creed Shadow canceled its TGS appointments and its show and is being delayed out to the end of February.
Oh, I missed that. I see.
Huh. Oh, they waited 17 years so that they could release in the year of the sequel to their competitor.
And Team Ninja wasn't too long ago either.
Yeah, no. They had a 17-year head start only for them to be sprinting past compliance failure to third place.
I mean, it's like they actually got there, I suppose, but it's just surprising that they even did bother. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So we are being inundated with samurai games, but the Ghost, I guess, this thing is just the fucking do you want to ride a horse through a flower field?
Dude,
do you want to just have the wind at your back and like let that
I want
rock
the wind
with no
at my
HUD?
back.
Yeah, that's this
one.
What I want. That's what this one is about.
Yeah.
and that's clearly they know that's what
You know
this
what
one is
else I
about, and then
want?
that's
I
what
want
they show
Mount
you.
Fuji in the fucking distance. I want to see Mount Fuji there.
But didn't they? So they said Mount in the description. Hold on, because they said it wasn't Mount Fuji, but I'm like, but that looks like Mount Fuji.
It's a big mountain. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
big mountain. I don't live there.
I was like, we're looking at a mountain that's not Mount Fuji. It's Mount Yotei. You know?
Oh, whatever. Give me that Yotei mountain as a Erd tree.
I didn't know that there was exactly that you could that Hokkaido
I didn't know that Japan had more than one mountain. I'm sorry.
And it's snow capped and everything in the same kind of way. And yes, it is basically an Erd tree. But yeah, that is Mount Woke. Why is that mountain so fucking woke, bro?
Oh man, it's always fun to like see the exact like needle just.
I think I talked about how like I remember breaking it down to Min one time in conversation where it was just like, it's really simple. You take one thing and then you take another thing that has nothing to do with that thing, but it has a vague link to it. And then the link itself is not funny. It's
tenuous.
It's the thing that comes next to both of those things, and linking these two, that's the gold. It's not layer one, it's the second layer. Right?
Yeah.
It's the mountain itself being called
See, it's funny. See, you do like it.
All right.
It is worth it.
It is pretty good. It is pretty good, I have to say. Anyway, all right. So yeah, but not much to say besides looks pretty. That's it. It's coming. And,
I bet that game will be hot. You can't. GUNZ exist now.
Yeah, and I mean, literally any weapons that were invented from the year 12,000 to 1600,
which is a bunch.
Definitely. And then a couple other things they showed. What was it? Fear the Spotlight.
That looked pretty cool.
Looked interesting. Kind of had kind of similar art style choices to Crow Country, a little bit, but like just third person angle on it. But it seemed like an interesting survival horror concept going on there. Dynasty Warriors Origins, which is like part tactical game.
Sure.
Apparently.
You know what? Sure. Dynasty Warriors, another one.
Yeah, free DLC for Astrobot.
That's cool.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
So, do you want to hear something funny about Dragon Age Veilguard, Wooly?
So I took a quick look at that trailer and I saw it was like a big dragon fight, and I was like, oh, that's way more actiony than I thought fantasy Mass Effect would look.
Yeah, that makes sense for the context. I think it was funny that when I was talking about that trailer, I was like, I remember in Dragon Age Origins where if you fought a dragon, it was like an apocalyptic nightmare, and there's too many dragons in these new games. And then, as I said that, a second dragon showed up in that fight, in that trailer, and I'm like, it's too many dragons. That game comes out on October 31st, comes out on Halloween, which is the same day the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster comes out.
I saw that it was like, the Horizon curse continues. But my only thing this time around is like, well, hold on a minute. That's not Elden Ring. You know what I mean? Like that's
but it's also just a remaster.
Okay, but like, is Dragon Age like that? I mean, the impact of what Horizon fought. This is probably the most handleable of those bad decision matchups.
It's a remaster, man. It's a re-release. It's a re-release going up against what might be BioWare's first good game in like 30 years. Okay, there's an embellishment.
Okay, I think I think I didn't fully know what the bit was. I thought the bit was every time Horizon comes out, it gets dropped on the same day as like some monster of a game.
Yeah, no, that is correct. Dragon Age is a monster compared to regular Horizon, let alone a remaster.
Okay.
Like, despite the fact that neither of these games have had any cultural impact at all, Dragon Age has actually sold a really crazy amount of copies.
And is there big excitement for this one? Because I thought it seemed
everything feels very tentative.
Okay.
Everything feels low expectation, high hopes.
I'm like vibe check into the ether right now. Doesn't seem to be big excitement for a cool new Dragon Age game coming that will look like the best parts of the ones they remember.
I think there is a huge spot for the first big RPG to come out after Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
And that spot is going to Metaphor out October 11th. That's next week. There's a free demo. Your progress will carry over. Anyway.
What was BioWare's last release?
I literally don't even know. I don't know.
Scroll.
It was not Anthem. There's no
scroll. Come on.
No way.
Come on. Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Anthem.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Anthem.
Wow. Yeah. No. They need a hit. They need a hit, bro. Wow. This is a really good example of me and you talking about how games take too long to come out, because the things that people care about for BioWare are 10 years in the past.
It was Inquisition into Shadow Realms, which then got canceled, into Andromeda, into Anthem.
When's the last time BioWare put out a game that people cared about, like in their chest? Like, people like Inquisition. I'm going to be kind.
That was 2014.
That's 10 years ago.
That was 2014.
Okay, what about a game that everyone loved? That was
Mass Effect 3, 2012.
That was Mass Effect 2 in 2010.
2011.
So the last time BioWare put out a game that was like a fucking slam dunk was 2010 on the Xbox 360. Bro, if Dragon Age and Mass Effect 4 don't do like big numbers, that company is going to die.
So check immediately underneath. You get Mass Effect 3, 2012, and then you get Warhammer Online, Wrath of Heroes, canceled. Command and Conquer Generals 2, canceled.
Dude, that hurts. I wanted that.
Inquisition, and then in 2014, Shadow Realms, canceled 2015, Andromeda 2017, Anthem 2019.
So,
boy.
So I want to point out that Dragon Age Inquisition won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. The year came out, and everyone was like, "What?" Huh? But more importantly, in an interview with somebody who worked on Inquisition, they described Inquisition winning Game of the Year as the worst thing that has ever happened to BioWare. And I don't know if you remember that interview.
No, certainly not.
So Inquisition was the height of what's called BioWare magic.
The BioWare, yeah, aka
where it's all going to come together in the last 6 months. And there was a lot of staff on there that were like, "Oh, thank God, when this bombs, they're finally going to have to change how they run this company." And then it sold 12 million copies and won Game of the Year. And then as a result, they described it, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to BioWare. Because BioWare magic became like deified. And that's how we got Anthem. And that's how we got Andromeda.
The Antularian technique.
Yeah. Hey, this looks like shit. Don't worry. Right when you put that last batch of
They're
salt
gonna
in
learn.
right at the end,
They're gonna learn their
all
lesson.
gonna come together.
Kaboom. Yeah. Okay. Man. All right. So that because I'm like that's it. It's like when I just I feel like the love for the best parts of Dragon Age is not being conveyed in the zeitgeist for this new one.
The best parts of Dragon Age is the shittiest thing you could ever show in a trailer or gameplay presentation. The best parts of Dragon Age are like
S-links, the relationship
hey,
stuff.
you seem like a weird fantasy alien. Do you want to talk about your weird dick?
Yep. Banging,
yeah, okay.
Banging everything. Okay.
Mass Effect will literally never peak harder than talking to that Alcor and that Volus in your fucking office.
That was the best. It was so good. It was so good. It primed your brain for a universe of possibilities where the races were all so unique and interesting and so different from anything you had ever seen.
I didn't think you were gonna react with breathless agreement.
Oh my god, that room, dude. It sets your expectations so high. So high. They're the most interesting things, man. And learn
number 2 for that series is like the 3 conversations you get to have with Legion.
Yeah.
Everything Legion says in Mass Effect 2 is the most interesting thing in that game.
Well, no, I mean the Sovereign conversation in 1.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Sovereign in 1. Right?
Well, Sovereign's conversation is so good it kind of ruined that series on a macro scale.
It never delivered again. It never delivered. It never got back. It couldn't. You couldn't possibly. We've done this. The unknown, right? But it's the moment that you go. The reason why the Elcor are so slow is because they have to make decisions about not falling to their death on their planet full of fucking cracks and crevices, and that affects their politics and their behavior, and also they have to enunciate their fucking emotion. It's just so interesting. I'm like, I've never encountered a race like this at all, and everything feels so well thought out in this one conversation that you're like, man, if this is the universe, holy shit. And yeah.
And then they're like bitching and complaining that they're 2 to an office, and then the human delegation that's only been around for 60 years has a bigger office, and how that's complete fucking bullshit. And they're right. It's total bullshit.
Never again, man. When telling people about that game when I had only played the first one, that's like one of the first things I'd bring up about it.
Oh, dude.
About like, yo, there's this race and then you go into the Alcor shit. Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's why I guess that energy or lack thereof is why I was like, oh, well, I guess this time around the Horizon thing is not as big a deal because it doesn't seem like anyone's particularly looking at this Dragon Age thing like it's going to be, comparable to the other shit Horizon had to fight.
People would be really happy to have a good BioWare game come out. People would be, I would be really, really happy to play a good BioWare game.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that torch passed? Did we not
we will see
Baldur's Gate 3 exists?
You will see in 31 days.
Like, it fully, as an outsider here, feels on Dragon Age. It feels like that torch
was not made by people who made both the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and it was really good. And Baldur's Gate 3 was not made by the people who made BG 1 and 2, and it was really good.
Someone says, Wooly, I got one more in me. Okay. All right. I understand. It's been 10 years. I get it. I understand the I've got one more in me sentiment.
If this game is any worse than like an 8 out of 10, get ready for the most violent doom and gloom perspective on Mass Effect 4 you've ever seen for anything. Like just legions of people just be like, who even gives a shit? just rolling their eyes, going, whatever, I don't even fucking care anymore.
I hope that the new Mass Effect takes place in Themes. Or themes.
I think that they're going to show off a Mass Effect 4 trailer and they're going to be like, Shepard, I can't believe you survived, and I'm going to just turn that stream off and walk away from it. And I'm just gonna go lie down.
Uninstall and lie down.
Like, I cannot conceivably imagine anything that could be more disappointing.
Well, anyway, good times. Yo, Hell Is Us. What the fuck was that? That looked interesting. It was a trailer with a dude in like a raincoat and like a sword with lights and weird Kojima-esque visuals. It was it was a Strand game.
It's a Strand Souls game.
It was a Strand game called Hell Is Us. And I don't know what I was looking at, but it looked very cool.
That's Dark Souls, but it's got a cool aesthetic.
And apparently the company behind it made some Warhammer games prior.
Okay. What's the company?
Let's see. Hell Is Us, created by
Rogue Factor.
And Rogue Factor developed.
Made Mordheim, City of the Damned. Necromunda, Underhive Wars. I was sponsored to play that. It was fine.
So this is way different from those.
This is very different from those.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, just artistic, visually interesting. We'll see what what it turns out to be, but like it is a Strand.
This looks like their attempt at a big
setting.
break.
And yeah, some Souls-looking things too, but eyebrow raised, interest peaked. The Midnight Walk seemed to interesting as well, just kind of like a little cute platformer. Again, all art style design carrying that.
Very much so.
And then Pal World hit PS5, some VR.
It's really funny to see the Sony being like, we love Pal World while Nintendo's suing them.
Great timing. Bunch of VR shit.
Who cares?
And Shredder's Revenge DLC.
Cool.
Mona Lisa and Mondo Gecko. Yeah, I don't suppose.
You got that new hot Horizon news. It's not part of the state of play.
What was it?
Oh well, let me pull up my information on Horizon. Let's see. Guerrilla Games' next project is reportedly the live service Horizon Online project, with Bloomberg saying Horizon 3 might be a ways off. Fresh off of Concord, hey man, do you want to play an online live service, maybe MMO, of Horizon, everyone's favorite industry plant?
This franchise continues, so it's making money, I'm assuming.
All right, let's do this. Let's figure this out. Horizon sales, because the Horizon sales numbers are actually quite high.
It continues to exist, and like I'm assuming that this thing is somehow is just background successful. I'm just not checking it out.
No, Horizon Zero Dawn has sold across all SKUs 24 million copies.
Okay.
Which is very significant.
Yes. What was God of War, for example, 1 and 2?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because that would be a nice.
Which one? God of War 2018?
Yeah. I think that'd be a
God of War 2018 sold 23 million.
Okay.
So it's approximately as big as God of War.
Yeah.
The main difference here is that bundles are being included in this number.
Cheeky sneaky. Pretty
So,
sneaky, sis.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of bundles that come with Horizon. As a result, it is impossible to tell
know the real numbers.
It's impossible.
Oh man!
So I played
Duck Hunt
about
is one of the most influential games of all time.
So I played about halfway through Horizon Zero Dawn, and I played a couple hours of Forbidden West. They're really good, extremely well made, slick, cool games. They're not fake, they're not bad, they're excellent. However, everything in the world has conspired to make them feel fake. So they always release in the shadow of a game that totally dominates culture for months. Right? Mm-hmm. Like Horizon Zero Dawn got like a week and a half for people to talk about before Breath of the Wild just dominated everyone's social media for a year.
The joke is that it's always your second choice.
Right? Elden Ring did the exact same thing to Forbidden West. I played Forbidden West like the week or two before Elden Ring. It was really solid. And I went, who cares though? Elden Ring's coming out across the band. So they're solid, but like no, you don't see the cultural, like everyone's talking about Horizon because it's an exclusive, but also because something else just absorbs it, right? So that combined with the bundle thing, nobody knows if this shit is popular or not. I assume they do fairly well, but they just make no impact, which is weird because they're in Genshin Impact and they're in Monster Hunter and they're in like Aloy's crossed over with a bunch of stuff.
And I also think the giving it the PC for the original version treatment is like you do that for games that you think are going to sell well that you can use to advertise the later one coming out, right? So
it's strange. It's really, really strange. And
forced
everyone's
franchise.
Second favorite game does not feel like the kind of thing that is rife for live service monetization.
Forced franchise. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey man, Chinatown Wars. Wei Shen. That's what you want to play online. Sleeping Dogs, baby. It's weird to hear that that's what they're doing with it because, again, I didn't know how successful it was until you read those numbers off right now. But I do keep hearing about it, and it does keep releasing and re-releasing, so it must be doing something.
You know what we can check? Horizon Forbidden West Steam numbers. We can check the Steam charts, which Sony has no fucky-wucky control over.
Can you check? Is there a way to see DLC, for example? I imagine those numbers are all super hidden, but like if you could check something like that, that'd be like closer to reality.
The all-time peak for Horizon Forbidden West on Steam is about 40K, and has an average of about 4K. And I realized upon looking this up, I don't know how that compares to other single player games.
But it's still a PC port. It's a PC port that's asymmetrically released.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as informative. No, it's got to be on release, for that to actually
now
be real.
People in the chat who would know better than me. Oh, let's compare it to Ragnarok. Ragnarok also just came out. That'll do it. God of War, Ragnarok, Steam numbers. Right? What's the all-time peak for God of War Ragnarok? God of War Ragnarok had approximately a 35,000 player peak. So it looks like, and 24 peak was 22 players right now, 16. So it looks like Horizon and God of War are like approximately the same.
Counterpoint, it's funny to call Horizon a psyop.
It's listen. You wanna get.
That's what I'm gonna do.
You want to get deep in the psyop nonsense? You want to get in there? Let's get in there. All right. Do you remember when Horizon Zero Dawn? Fuck, I hate the naming series of this fucking franchise. Do you remember when Horizon Forbidden West came out and dudes were like, why Aloy so fucking ugly? Why she look like a man? What if she looked like this, and used like the AI WhatsApp filter to fucking yesify her to have like fucking big lipstick and fucking mascara and eyeshadow? You remember that photo?
Yeah. Version 2 of what they did for Mirror's Edge.
Okay.
I remember that shit
Let me
super
give
well. Aloy got the faith treatment.
Right. So, and everyone was like, that's ridiculous. That's stupid. Well, sir, they've released a comparison of Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Zero Dawn's remaster.
What?
And it looks like this.
Oh,
they literally fucking caved and
they put the makeup on.
They fucking yassified her.
They put it on. Damn, they actually did it, huh? Okay,
they actually fucking did it.
That's pretty funny. And then there's like, because I mean, there's things I don't know. I'm like, why did Peter change, for example, right? I don't know what that was about. I don't know if that was ever explained.
You know exactly what it was about. It's so he could look like Tom Holland.
Is that it?
That's literally it.
Oh, okay. All right. But it's not exactly, though?
But it's close enough. So people don't feel confused that the character is Spider-Man compared to the Spider-Man on the TV.
Oh, man. Okay. God damn. Okay. And then here they actually went and did the fucking... Oh, that's great. That's great. I like that.
Yeah, no, Horizon is like, it's the Killzone devs. Like they do good stuff. And like those games are really well made. I really enjoyed the time I had with Horizon that I stopped playing the day that Breath of the Wild came out. And I really enjoyed my time with Forbidden West until the day Elden Ring came out.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it is.
Okay, well, Horizon Gas then.
Horizon Gas. See, the gas thing is different because people who play gas games are already playing their gas game of choice.
Possibly a free gas game of choice.
Yes.
Probably.
So, like, I think it's really brave that Guerrilla felt like confident enough to announce World of Warcraft 2 coming out in a couple of years as the thing that will drop on top of their game the day of release.
Can anything that's live service and not free survive at all?
Absolutely. There are two that can. World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy.
And those games still have giant free trials that get you in for free for a while until you eventually have to pay. I was kind of...
They will put the hook in for free.
To the point where, in my brain, they're not free games, but they kind of are because you get to spend so much time.
Depending how fast you play those games, you could totally get into a situation in which you'd never catch up.
Yeah. True Destiny 2 and stuff was like was one of those. That's true. Okay. Let's take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. But hold on a second. Make sure your letters aren't too woke, or we may not read them.
Oh boy.
You make sure that letter is based.
If you fucking send in woke mail, bro, like I don't even see it.
You can't even see it.
It's gone.
Yeah, I know the Yakuza Like a Dragon trailer came out on Netflix. It doesn't look very good.
I saw that. Didn't have time to look at it, but
it looks fine. It looks okay.
All right. We got one coming in over here from James who says, "Hello, Castle Super Beast Mail. Back when Blizzard made good games and their standards were it's released when it's ready, copies of their games came with what were called spawn versions.
I remember this.
There were versions of the game with less features that didn't require a CD key to run for the purpose of allowing owners to play multiplayer with their friends without copies. I recall a few games for the portable Nintendo consoles that allowed a similar feature. Certain GBA games let multiplayer with a single cartridge as long as you connected the link cables, and Nintendo games had an install that you could put on other DSs via Wi-Fi to play multiplayer. Any other examples of this type of design that you recall? I doubt that modern companies will practice this kind of permitting multiplayer with only a single copy, but do you think it should continue or become a more common or recent thing with current games?" So the only thing I can think of in modern context, because those are all great examples and I remember all of those. I did all of those with my friends. I had the DS copies that you would send via, to install for like multiplayer, and the spawn keys on StarCraft and shit. We did all of that. When Steam had the buddy bundles, where you'd buy one game, but you get a second version that you could give to somebody.
There's a very rare type of Steam game that does that. So It Takes Two and A Way Out and Frozen Synapse all come as double copies.
Those are great, and those are the only things I can think of in a modern context that are willing to do that with you. I don't know that there's anything else that would. I mean, the family system is like a platform, kind of.
It's cool.
element.
I like the family account system. It's good.
Yeah. But something that's more along the lines of I'm encouraging you to get a friend and give them like a way to play with you this thing. That's kind of gone by the wayside.
Yeah, that's gone by the wayside because instead it's like the game itself is free, but all the features that you would actually care about are paid. Right?
Yeah, Jackbox does always have that grab your phone and play thing to it. There is that element, I suppose. But
I think it's interesting that the most famous example of this business practice was not mentioned in the email, which is Doom. Doom's shareware, Knee Deep in the Dead, the first full episode of Doom, was fucking free. It was just out and about around, came in on demo discs.
Shareware.
You could just get it. And then at the end of Knee Deep in the Dead, it's like, dude, did you think this was cool? Fucking send a letter to us at id Software and we'll send you the fucking rest of the 2 episodes in the mail.
Shareware. Yeah. Just give it to your friends. It's a demo. Go do whatever. Spread it around.
And like Doom got to do it because when you played Doom, if you played Doom in 1993, was it 93? You were just like, oh my fucking god, this is the fucking future. There's never been anything like this. Yeah, I'll mail a fucking check to some company to get 2 more episodes of this.
I might be misremembering, but I think like Advance Wars on the original GBA had I think it had link cable, like a download to your like soft version of the game, but it also of course had just turn-based, like pass it around, right? So I believe you could play either or in that. Yeah, man, that shit was awesome.
People in the chat are pointing out that Deltarune is actually doing the shareware thing.
First version
episodes
free.
1 and 2 have been completely free, but the next batch of episodes are going to be paid.
Damn, copy it onto
also
a floppy.
People are saying it might release on Halloween. Please don't.
That'd be
Please
cool.
don't. Wooly, you don't understand. In my skeleton-based household, life is over when Deltarune comes out.
I see. Okay.
You don't understand.
I feel like so far each chapter has been like a decent afternoon, though. They're not that hard to,
Yeah, except chapter 2 was significantly longer than chapter 1, which means chapter 3 will be significantly longer than chapter 2, and chapter 4 will be significantly, etc. Think of Phoenix Wright as a decent example.
Dylan from Gacha Hell says, "Hey Pat and Wooly, a few weeks ago, Honkai Star Rail released version 2.5, and it came out with a powerful new character called Fei Xiao.
That's probably how you pronounce that.
I'm gonna go with Fei Xiao.
Yeah.
After a few days of theory crafting, people have concluded that the best team composes of Fei Xiao, Aventurine, Robin, and Topaz. Now, popularly known as the F.A.R.T team. People are upset that their new waifu is being regarded as the fart queen.
This rules. I didn't know where this was going. This rules.
No real question. Just wanted to give you this knowledge.
Hey, you know what? Thanks. Thanks. That's awesome. It reminds me of people who get super mad when you call Shadowheart Shart.
Shart. Yeah.
Like just super mad.
Hey man, fart's meta. What are you gonna do? Fart queen is meta. What are you gonna do?
We're in the fart meta now.